Brett Perigo, tonight's second place finisher. Plenty of fans here, Brett, and a solid second place finish.
Yeah, I got to shout out the Turn 2 Terribles over there. They're all a bunch of good guys to hang out with and talk to. I really like them.
How are you doing tonight, man?
Hey, I'm talking here. You know who you're talking to? Macho Man! I'm on my way to Monday Night Raw.
The second one.
Your choice.
It's a trap.
I feel like it is. I feel like he's setting up fights in the front stretch is what he's trying to do.
Speedway. We've got Devin Gordon with us
at Keen Motorsports Shop here with Kyle Keen.
Sitting here with Sean Keen. We're going to talk a little bit about racing history.
Yep.
Monday, August 21st. How's it going, everybody? It is the Turn 2 Terribles. I am Jimmy here with Jay-Z and Chris. We got a few topics to talk about. We're going to recap the week that was. The 24 hours of Williamsgrove, what it felt like. Another chapter in the Danny Dietrich versus Freddie Rainier saga. We had the Dream Race at Port Royal. We had a regular Lincoln show. We also had the All-Stars return to Selinsgrove. And then I also was able to go out to Springfield, Illinois to go see the Silver Crown on the mile there. So we're going to talk about that and whatever else you guys want to talk about. Make sure you put all your questions, comments in the chat. We'll read them off and keep the conversation going, you know. So fellas, how was your weekend? That good, huh?
I was at one race. I had a great time. On the scales, much less racing than you all did, but felt like a lot longer.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. The Friday and Saturday was so nice and it was cool, and it was really hot yesterday, but beautiful weather. Not a threat of rain. Got to see 3 races this weekend. I don't do that every weekend. I probably could, but I choose not to. A lot of racing in. Great weekend for sure.
So let's jump right into it. Friday night kicked off the weekend. They had 4 features. We had makeups from a couple weeks ago when it rained after
during the Bowhunters. Yeah, Bowhunters Bash 2 weeks ago. Got through the heats, and we had lightning, thunder, rain, Crower Sioux fences delay the race.
So we had those 2 features to make up, and then we had a full show after that between the 410s and the 358s. I guess let's start with the first makeup feature, which was the 358 feature.
An hour long.
Yes, event. It was.
They rolled for the first thing at 7:45, give or take a minute. We had a red for radios not working. There was a stuck mic, so officials could not communicate. Obviously, safety first. Stop all the cars, get that squared away. That was kind of
It was the start of the downhill slide.
right. I'm trying to think of the right word here.
It was
It was just
It
like
was about the high point.
we should have known that from that point on, it's just going to be a long, slow drug to the bottom of everything happy in the world.
Yeah, I mean, like I went into that night, as soon as I walked in and saw how much moisture they'd put on the racetrack, I knew that those makeup features could be a potential problem for wrecked race cars, crazy shit to happen. And it didn't even affect the race because we had 2 red flags before we took a green
Going
flag.
green. Yeah, so we had the radio thing. Poor Kyle
So
Keen.
we had the radio thing, and then they're lining up to, they push them back off. All the trucks are off the track. They say, hey, line up to the pace truck. And they all go speeding around to catch up to the pace truck to line up. They take that like one hot lap you always see. And unfortunately, a friend, sponsor of the show, Kyle Keen, something broke exiting turn 4, and it drove straight into the outside wall exiting 4 and destroyed that race car in every shape of sense of the word.
Yeah,
so
it was gone.
We had that red flag, and then finally got going, and it just continued.
The next thing I guess was what, Cody Fletcher?
Yeah,
probably. I was just kind of
They were
thinking
going
that.
green. They were going green, and it was like, all right, things get normal, and they're lapping a car. Jeremy, you know the 2 cars' name. I do not.
So, I'm gonna fire off early. I'm gonna get this over with.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is where it really started to turn.
You might need to tell the backstory because you and I had a conversation about this exact car before you even lined them up.
I walked in before a car has even gotten on the racetrack. And I come across the bridge, and I go over to see Chris and the group that's standing there, and I'm like, hey, at least Denny Gross is here tonight, okay? This orange number 2. And I've seen this car for years. It's like the minimum speed rule in like Xfinity, but with a perfectly fine race car kind of deal. And listen, he has every right to be out there like everybody else does. He built a car, he brought it there, he put the work in, he put the time in. But at what point is it a danger for the others?
Right.
We've seen this for years. And I'm not personally attacking this guy. I don't know him from anybody else. But what I see on the racetrack is dangerous, period. And with that racetrack and the combination of the speeds, they were fast, it was narrow. He was not in control of his car for most of that race. Took off, got going, and he was multiple seconds off the pace. And there were cars at the front of the field that were having to slow down and plan their attack on how to pass him and when and where, because that track was that narrow. After the second, I think it was the second time getting lapped. I don't know if it was maybe it was the first time.
First or second.
I think it was his first
time through. I missed the beginning of it. I've only seen replays, but Cody Fletcher apparently tried to avoid him, didn't, caught something, and actually flipped so fast and flipped past him.
Yes.
Into the turn 3 wall.
Yeah,
Flipped faster than the car that was rolling on 4 wheels.
So context there. That was right in front of me, and I was actually staring right at it. You've seen Fletcher kind of back off, try to like figure it out, and he jumps back to the outside. And as he goes around the outside, you see the 2 kind of move up and catch him in the left rear, and it was on from there, end over end, up into the Williams-Grove sign, destroyed the sign, came close to hitting the Beer Hill catch fence. If he didn't,
I think.
like he went all the way up and then tumbled back down. Very gnarly. It's high speed part of the track, just like turn 1. The last crash I saw there was that vintage car crash. It was very similar to that night. The vintage car crash with, I don't know his name, but same idea. It was a slow car. He went to go to the outside. The car moved up. Boom. Go from there. Just not ideal.
Yeah.
So tore down the Williams-Grove sign, and now says ASCoC. If you haven't seen pictures of it yet, it's like honestly, at this point, it's like you can just laugh. Like, what else could possibly happen at this place? And I was having this conversation with someone in the infield, like, how fast they're going, and middle of the corner, Williams-Grove is dangerous. I know that. But honestly, the last 3 events there, the crashes we've seen have been at the end of the straightaways. The fast. part of the racetrack. And it has been the craziest 3 crashes that you're like, there's a hole now in turn 1 in a tree. The catch fence got torn down and entering turn 1. And now we have the Williams Grove sign. It's like the Hollywood sign being destroyed.
Right.
Like,
I don't think
that's what it reminded me of. I'm like, this is history just got torn down.
I want to know when that sign was put there, but I don't remember a time that it wasn't. So
somebody in our chat will probably know that answer. I don't know that answer.
Well, they just replaced it, I think, last year. I think that's a new sign.
But I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
how
but it's
long
always been in
the
that.
Williams
but I've
Grove
never
sign
seen it
there?
hit. Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah, right. We've seen some gnarly crashes at Williams Grove. But in the story of racing, if a race car, or
Can
what's
find
the how the saying goes,
if a
if
race
there's a
car can
place a
find
race
it,
car can find a crash, they'll find a way to crash there.
Yeah.
Like
right.
where you don't think they're going to crash, race cars tend
They'll
to find
find
a
a
way
way.
to
I mean,
crash.
and the crazy part to that exact point, for years I watched it go underneath the bridge. And you see that hump, and they're like jumping over it. I'm pretty sure Austin Bishop damn near got humped right into the damn pit exit gate there at the end because he hit it and he kind of got squeezed. And I thought we were going to see something pretty gnarly there. So even the things that didn't happen that brought out reds were damn close to happening, and that would have been obviously very bad.
So they finally get that one in. Dylan Norris wins it. He's in the
Yes.
6th car. Brad McClellan 6. He gets the win. His second career 350 win at Williams Grove, and looked really good. Obviously, he has a lot of experience in a 410. So jumping in a 358, that good equipment, he's going to do well. He did well. Gets that done, and we get into the 410 makeup feature.
Make it to turn 1. Turn 1,
What's
Billy
that?
Dietrich. So we make it to turn 1 in that. And
Made it to turn 1. Dietrich kind of
Good
has a tip over, kind of bicycles and tips over there.
Good buddy, Billy.
Hurt the car a little bit, but I don't think it was the worst thing we've ever seen. We get that race going, and how I don't even remember. Lucas Wolf ends up with the lead.
Lucas Wolf wins. Cam Smith looked
Cam
strong.
Smith, that's
Yeah.
right.
Cam
Cam
Smith looked really strong. There was a caution with like 10 to go. Danny Dietrich blows a right rear. Pulls off on that restart. Lucas and him got to racing. Cam just makes a mistake on the cushion and kind of gets all crossed up. Lucas scoots away and outruns Freddie Raymer. So Cam Smith, I thought, had that race on lockdown, and he did up into that restart. Just got dicey, and he hit the cushion just he hit it wrong, and it just upset the car, and he got a little crossed up, and it was enough, and he dropped after that. Just young driver, new situation, but that car was fast.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can get into that a little bit right now, or we can talk about it with the second one. Let's get into it after the second feature because I want to talk about Cam Smith a little bit. But obviously, a very popular win with Lucas in the new paint scheme. It was the first night for it, first rollout for it. Beautiful paint scheme on that car. So if you haven't seen it, look it up. Go to my photo page; you can find it there. Old Milwaukee paint scheme, and I mean his helmet matches. They did it all, and it looks gorgeous. Lucas Wolf has always been known last bunch of years to bring a pretty race car to the track. It's far gone time from that orange 5 that he used to run. So just plain old orange. So good for him. Great win for him. I know he was loving it. Had the whole family there. Then we roll into starting the night. The first 358, he took their first lap of the normal event at 9:20. I think it was right around 9:20 to 9:30. Took their first green flag lap. So
Yes.
it was late. It was late for sure.
Yeah, for just so many things all night long. The cone rope.
The rope on the cone broke. Yeah.
What do you can't even make this stuff up anymore.
Yeah, and I think it went a little bit better from there on. It wasn't too bad, and really the turnaround from the 410, the last heat to the A, they really were pushing
Right.
guys.
Hey, once we got to 410 heats, they went. I think all of them went green, and
I think so.
I think the last thing was Rumsey flipped. You think you may have mentioned it. Rumsey got upside down after the checker in the third 358 heat. And we went green through the 2 heats. No B main because of all the carnage, and 5 258 scratch, and went right to the A main for the 410s. But this night wouldn't be complete without a little bit of chaos in the 410 A main.
Yeah. Just to circle back on some things here. going back to the lap to car in the 358 feature, Luke Ritz said happened at Lincoln the other week when we're talking about, having slow cars, and I think it's one thing to be slow. It's another thing to be kind of erratic. I want to say erratic, but like you got to pick a line. You got to let cars past you, in a sense. So I just wanted to add that, you got to be predictable a little bit if you're going to be a lap car out there that slow. 410 feature, though, the second 410 feature. We have another chapter of the Freddie versus Danny saga. Apparently, Freddie got into...
Apparently, so I'll give my version of this if you want, because I actually caught, in my opinion, all three of the things that led to what ended up being. So I saw them coming through 1 and 2, or coming off of 2, and they were damn near banging tires. This is really early on, before halfway, and I'm like, dang, that was close. I'm like, oh shit. So they get the races, so last go by, you kind of forget about it, whatever, tight racing. And Danny runs down Freddie again, slides him pretty cleanly, and kind of stops in the middle of the corner, and Freddie just punts him nose into the tank, and I thought Danny was going to spin and gets sent up into fluff, gathers it up, and they keep racing. And then a caution comes out. I forget for who. I think Stutz and Wolf and a bunch of guys in turn 1. I couldn't see it. And on the restart, Danny sends it into 3, and he does the same move he did earlier, but he just kind of shortened it up, if you will. And I thought it was coming. He looks like he drives in there, 10 or not, but he was making sure that Freddie didn't have a choice, lift or goodbye. And he does. He hits him right in the left front. Freddie hits into the wall, gets crossed up, gasses it up, drives down the track, and all hell breaks loose. You had Moody,
took out like 7 cars.
the 1W
almost.
to 99 starts flipping. I see that. And then at that point, Freddie's flipping. You have the 67, the 5 melee on the front stretch. There's like 8 cars. The crowd goes nuts. You have people yelling, all running over there because one is a huge ass crash. And Billy's here, great. And chaos. And that's actually the point that I had to get. My kid and I were like, "Yeah, we had enough. It's 11:20 at night." But it's like, this is going to be big. This is going to be big because it's those two, and you know the history, right, wrong, or indifferent. You saw it coming and deserved it. I'm of the opinion at that time, Freddie stuffed him in the rear. In my opinion of what he did, and I don't think it's dirty. I think it's just, hey, you want to give it out, take it back sometimes. Sucks for the other 7 cars that got caught up in it, but still, I don't know that Danny did anything that caused the other 7 guys to wreck. That was more, in my opinion, Freddie not admitting defeat in that moment and just trying to drive out of it like a cowboy and drove down in front of the whole field. But
it's okay. You can be wrong.
That's fine. Hey, live by the sword, die by the sword. Like, I don't know.
It's okay. You can be wrong, and this is just another chapter in this. And to, like, when I look at this and I go, well, who's to blame? Well, they both are. Period. Okay. I don't blame Danny for racing him in any way he feels fit if he feels he was done wrong before. I don't blame Freddie for racing Danny I don't blame Freddie if he raced Danny that way if he felt he'd been done wrong. But it never ends. That's the thing. They can race a couple weeks ago back at Lincoln and clean. Freddie gets the win. They almost compliment each other in Victor Lane about racing clean.
Almost.
But as soon as one of them races just a mildly aggressive and there's any contact, the other one, it's almost like, have you ever met a person where you like flick their ear and they're like, I'll burn your fucking house down. Okay. This is what's happening, right? As soon as one of them does the other one just a bit aggressive contact, the other one just flies off the handle. We've seen it both ways, and it's been over and over and over again. If Danny throws a slider, and it's close enough where Freddie just runs into him and punts him, have we ever seen a guy that goes, well, he got short slid and the guy got dumped because of it?
But I don't think it was a short slider, though.
I didn't see it, but
I'm saying I was watching it. It looked like a very not short slider. It looked like a very
why would
clean
someone
slider.
their race just to drive in the back of someone?
I don't know why race car drivers do half the things they do.
He knows
but-
he could ruin his race just the same as it's a
well, he
sprint car.
did.
It's not
He
a
bent the
stock
front
car.
wing on doing it, so
Right,
he,
it's
he
not a
did.
stock car, right? It's not like, hey, move him out of the way. It's Bristol and fight for the bottom. To do that, the damage that I saw in back of Danny's tail tank tells me that, like, yeah, he made a choice, but I don't know. Okay, forget it.
Yeah,
Either
he's
way,
anyway.
Danny felt like he was done wrong. Drove in there and knew he did the old Ross Chastain or the Denny Hamlin Ross Chastain and said, "I'm going to make him make a decision."
He did
Okay?
that.
And
Yes.
shoved him up the track. Okay, shoved him up the track. None of the rest of the shit happens if that doesn't happen. I don't care. Freddie's trying to save his race. He didn't make a mistake. He didn't fuck it up. He's trying to save his race. We saw this 8, 10, 12 weeks ago back at Lincoln when the same thing happened to Danny. Got us up above the fluff, comes, gasses it up, wheel stand out of the fluff, down across the track.
I
And
forgot
guess
about
who's
that.
there? Guess what happens?
Who-
Freddie gets spun out, not Danny. So don't give me that like, hey, he fucked it up. No, it doesn't. It would not have even been a thing if it wasn't a thing. So
Right. But
that's
I
why
think it was a
kinda made
thing because I think it was a thing because of how Freddie reacted to the first one. Danny put a slider on that was clean, does his thing, and Freddie, instead of trying to cross him over or anything else, just drives right in the back of him and punts him back out of the way. That, to me, was the start of whatever happened 10 laps later. It wasn't,
Sure, I
Danny
know it
short.
was.
Definitely the second slider, Danny definitely, I would say, cut it shorter, but I don't think that was an accident. And I don't know if I was a race car driver, I would do anything different. Like,
No, 3 and
you get-
4 wasn't an accident. Absolutely, it wasn't.
right, I don't care what Danny says publicly, but it wasn't an
Danny
accident.
said he
He's-
doesn't give a shit. You know what I
said
mean? He
that's
didn't
fair.
care what
Right.
happened.
He said,
Right,
"I'm going
no.
to race how I get raced."
Right, I understand
He
that.
absolutely knew what he was doing at 3 and 4.
It wasn't
Right.
purposeful, but he didn't give a shit either what happened.
Right. And
It
that's
was purposeful because you can race. You can decide to race that way or not. Don't
I-
give me that shit. You
I
can
think
either
he's
decide
within
to
his-
race that way,
I think
or
he's
you can
within his
decide
right.
not to. It
He's
was a
within his
conscious
right.
decision to race that way. Yeah, it wasn't.
I agree. I agree.
It
It's a
wasn't
conscious
a blatant
decision.
clean out like Borden Freddie deal, right? It wasn't like a blatant clean out. It was just, I'm going to race you however the fuck I feel like I'm going to race you. And if you lose, you lose. If we both lose, we both lose.
Right.
That was
I
the
agree.
attitude he took into it. And he ended up working out and he wins the race. It's just another pissing match between these two. And I love it. I'm glad I don't have
I
a
wanna
favorite. I don't have a like, this guy, that guy. Because everybody in our sport either loves or hates one or the other. And they're all got their beer goggles on for their favorite, no matter
but
what.
not here,
And
not here.
neither of them could do wrong in it, right? Neither of them are going to be wrong. If you're a fan of one, your guy's never wrong. If you're a fan of the other, that guy's never wrong. I like kind of being able to just like watch it and talk about it. But where I do draw the line is what Luke just said right there. Oh, not that. No, sorry. I misread that. Where I draw the line is that those other cars got torn up.
Yes.
They only got torn up because these two have a pissing match. Period. I don't care what Freddie did trying to save his race. They only got torn up because they were put in a position. Freddie got put in a position. He's trying to race his race. Like he's pretty good about controlling his car. I think we can all agree. He's not Danny Gross. Okay. He's trying to save his fucking race. The rest of that happened though, that doesn't happen if the rest of this shit's not happening. So it's again, those two cause those other cars to get torn up, and it's a shame. And that is where I have an opinion. They can listen. They can go wreck themselves till they run out of equipment and get fired. I don't give a shit. But to get other people involved in it and get torn up is like.
All right, we don't need to be getting that heated in the chat here.
It's fine. It's fine.
Delete that. I mean, listen, he's going to stick up for his family, my guy. It's a
Yeah.
little aggressive.
So I'm pretty much all in agreement with what Jeremy's saying. The fact that it's great for the sport. The rivalry is great
This is
for
what I see on my
SRPA.
page all week long, by the way. This is what I get on my photos page all
That's
damn
true.
week. I do all week. This is what I get. All I do is post
Freddie,
this
F
person.
and Danny.
All I get is this person wins. That's all I write. And this is the shit I get in my chat all week
F
long.
and Freddie, F and Danny.
All week, dude. It's the same thing.
We're here for it. No, this is the energy. This is the energy that I saw in the infield, right? So like I was there with a buddy of mine that I knew growing up. Brian has not been to a sprint car race in 5 years, right? I was explaining who the 48 was, who the 12 was, and how they were related, who the 8 was, and when the first or second incident happened, I was like, this is going to be something. If Danny gets back to him, it's going to be something, and it was. And the crowd ran over there. One was a big wreck, and you could just hear the energy. I mean, there was people saying it was yelling from the top of the Raymer trailer. Like, that energy is key. We need the energy. Now, I don't like how it's going down.
I don't like
to
the
be
end
racing
result.
it. I would
The
like
end
them to be
result
racing
the bad part.
slide, finishing 360 Knoxville style at the line, photo finish, and fighting it in the pits. Fine, do that. That'd
Yeah,
be
they've done that.
better.
I don't want to hear. This is where I don't want to hear racing's tough and very expensive, but then you're willing to go and do that and tear up 7.
Right.
If by happenstance you tear up 7 cars, I get it. I mean, you want to race hard. Accidents happen sometimes. You go overdo it a little bit, and end result isn't what you envisioned, maybe, or
Right. I'm gonna
but
say I don't.
you
think
gotta.
Danny went to 3 expecting everything else to happen. I think he went with the intention of knocking Freddie out of the way, or at least making him stomp the brakes or something like that. That didn't happen that way, and that's unfortunate.
All we know. So to
Go ahead,
follow
Jim.
up on all this before we get into other stuff, is there was an article by Sprint Car Unlimited. If you look at the photo, Jay-Z here did the photo, so shout out. But it was basically Freddie's take on it, the other side, and he was pretty animated. It sounded like, if you read it, trying to read it, you're trying to imagine him saying all this. There's no video of him saying it, but obviously Jeremy got it all. Just he wanted the track to step in, which I think is interesting because, like Jay-Z was saying before, when Freddie got spun at Selinsgrove by Borden got penalized spots. Totally. Obviously it wasn't to this extent or anything like that, but you have seen tracks kind of step in. Do they need to? I don't think they necessarily need to. But Freddie's pretty mad. He was like, I could have broke my arm. He's just, and I'm pretty sure he got this interview like immediately after all this happened. So he was probably still really fired up about it. And I can understand why.
I want to say, chat's getting wild. I love it. The track at this point, I would think the track should step in the sense of sit them both down and be like, whatever this is, I don't. Maybe you don't, but I'm saying
It's not going to matter.
That's a different topic. I'm saying is, I don't know what you do, but you step in and say, "Can you?" I don't know. I don't think they're going to listen. I don't think it's going to matter.
But what track?
Yeah,
right.
It happens everywhere.
That's what
It happens everywhere. It's
right.
3-4 times a year. So there's a comment here in our chat. Are you able to wait? Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I got it here. Randy Fenner would you really be talking about this if this was other drivers? Parentheses, this happens all the time. That's bullshit. It doesn't happen all the time. It happens, but it doesn't continue to happen with the same 2 people year after year after year after year. After year after year after year. So that's absolutely false. Yes, accidents happen. People get their tempers flared up. But this continues to happen over and over and over with the same 2. And they both win, and they both have large fan bases. It's fine. If they want to go this, hold on. This is like the Days of Thunder. If you want to go kill yourselves and make yourselves a flat oil spot on the highway, feel free. But don't get other people caught up in it. Like, don't want to get people hurt, don't want to do that. But their actions on the track say otherwise at times. So
you're also putting your own teams in particular positions too.
These other teams that don't have the budgets to keep putting cars together because of your bullshit,
right?
That's a problem. That's a problem for me as a fan because I'm
not even.
And it's not even just this instance. I saw the same conversation. Someone brought up, I guess, what Freddie snuck through Cody Hartlaub at Lincoln a few weeks ago. Very dangerous move. He didn't punt Cody though, and there's a difference there. I think that should be noted.
He did apologize to Cody. That was a
bold.
Yeah,
that's a bold, ballsy move, and we celebrate bold, ballsy moves like that.
But it wasn't. That's not true. Cody had his momentum killed. Freddie didn't think he was going to be there and end up in his lap. It was Freddie entering the corner at the speed he needed to, and he just misjudged it. He went and apologized to Cody afterwards.
Still, one of those things. It's, I don't know. I'm torn. I don't know.
I'm not torn.
I guess I was going to say,
I don't take either side on it.
I was gonna say my
I take the
question
side of
was-
not tearing up shit, not making your team do more work, not making your car owners go spend more money, not making these other small budget teams have to tear their shit up either. You know, there's got to be a line where it's like you race each other hard. Maybe you want to turn somebody, but you can't just.
Right.
You gotta do it in a way where you're not gonna get.
The only way otherwise is to go fight it out in the pits or the backstretch,
But
front
they've
stretch,
done
turn
that.
3, the bar.
It doesn't change. They've done
Right.
this.
Exactly.
punched
They've went
each other
through
in
these
helmets.
motions.
They've dragged each
multiple
other
times now.
around the track. They've punched each other in the pits.
So
It's not. They've been there, done that with these two. And the other part of this is like, here's the one that gets me. Whenever this happens, the one who ends up on the losing end of it is the one who's crying foul.
Right.
Right. Every time, no matter
every
what.
time, no matter what
The
side,
only
it's
one
every
who
time.
cries foul is the one who ends up on the losing end of the crash, the battle, right? Every single time, no matter what, both
But
sides, the one that cries foul is the one who ended up wrecked, and the other one kept going. And they cried that they got the short end of it.
The same story, go back to the Fender car, NASCAR, whoever gets punted is the one that says that's low down dirty racing, no matter what. Whatever it is. But I would like to know, and I'll ask the chat and I'll ask you guys, when was the last time we saw two guys year in, year out have these kind of run-ins in sprint car racing?
Not
I
this
don't know.
consistent for this long in my. I mean,
I can't think of one. That's why I'm asking. I don't know. Like, I mean, Reitzel and Danny had that little spat, but that was wasn't like this. That was more like they were just crossing each other and banging wheels. I don't think it got to this level over the years. Like, I don't know.
no, there's always been guys who didn't necessarily like each other.
Like Steve and Sammy didn't race like this, but they were, I guess, rivals like this.
It was never like this. They knew what was bigger picture, not to tear up their freaking race cars.
Right, but I guess rivalry-wise, it was like that just because they were racing each other, not because they were wrecking each other.
But that's what it should be.
Right, that's what we want. Right.
Yeah.
You may not like it.
I'm opening up to see. I'm just trying to see if there is another one. Like, I know Jeff Shepard stirred some stuff up. I know Chad Layton stirred some stuff up with Fred Raymer, but nothing like this that I can think of.
There's this momentary lapses that people get upset with each other and they have a scruff. They fight in the pits. They do whatever. They flip each other off. They throw a helmet, and it's over. This is year in, year out, all the time, and I don't know where it ends. I don't know. I don't know where it ends.
That's why I thought maybe after Williamsgrove last year with all that, I thought maybe it would have maybe ended, or not ended, but like. It wouldn't go beyond that too much, but I guess they keep racing. They feel like they're racing each other.
I feel like
not the way that they should be raced, and it continues to go on until one of them starts. One of them becomes the person that races them different.
But I feel like that in their heads,
and everybody has an opinion of who that driver is.
I feel like in their I'm not even excited. In each of their heads, they have taken spells where they have given a break to the other guy. And then it got returned by getting chopped, bombed, spun, fought, flipped, whatever you want to use, and it's escalated again. Like I think they both have equally tried to do that, and then, but it's racing. Okay, they're both good at they're both good at Lincoln. They're both good at Selinsgrove. They're both good in Central PA scene. They're going to be around each other all the time, so they got to figure it out for the sake of the field and each other, honestly.
They haven't yet, and it's been years, so I don't see it happening unless they go their separate ways and don't race each other. Like I just don't see I don't see it happening. And Ashley Capetta, I personally how fans rip up each other, but Ashley, you've been around the sport long enough. This is going on for decades. If you like the guy you like, you dislike his rival, and this is what we do in every level of motorsport. Think about how NASCAR fans and Chase Elliott fans could literally go out there and wipe out 42 cars, and his fans would be like, "Nah, he good."
Chase Elliott did it to Chase
Danny
Elliott
Hamlin.
hooked Danny Hamlin in a fence, and they're like, "I don't know why Chase is in the playoffs."
They'd be like, "Oh, well, that driver 8 years ago spun him out one time, or looked at him cross-eyed." Like it was back in the day with Fred Raymer. Okay, it was a love or hate. It was a Dale Jr. thing. I remember sitting in the stands as a younger, teenager, starting to drink. I was ready to fight people, and I don't even know these people. The things that were said and the insults it has been going on for years and years and years.
The difference is now the fans have this platform.
He's
All
local, and guess
platforms
what else is involved every weekend? We allow
every
them to bring
single
a
time.
big ass cooler in every weekend.
Yep.
Okay,
Right.
kids and grown ass adults who can't handle their alcohol. What
That's
do
the
we
fuel to the
expect
fire.
Right, and
But
you're
here's the
talking
deal: these are people. They have families, but you know what? It sells tickets.
right,
Yeah.
Don't
No,
crash
I
each
think
other.
I think the
Don't fucking
rivalry
crash
is
each
good.
other. Don't
right. I
crash
think
each other. Don't
It's great.
badmouth each other, and don't fight each other.
the fun
Maybe we
part is
can do
this.
that.
So I'm gonna use this as an example. Everyone's loving the Danny Lance Twitter battles for what they are. I don't know how real they are or fake they are, whatever they are.
They're friends.
They're
They're laughing.
funny. It's funny as hell, though, right? But the fans, start doing the thing. But it's different because it's Lance, who's like God to most of these people, and Danny, who's not after their chosen one. So it's like, oh, this is fine. You can say whatever we want. Oh, you got fired. Oh, we got fired. We can be
But they
buddies,
don't
whatever.
crash each other, Chris,
What I'm saying is, I'm
or
making the
fight
point
each other,
of
or their
the
parents, or
fans.
dragging each other by the fucking helmets. It's
Point is,
different. It's
I
not
understand
rival.
it's no shit. It's different.
Why
Yeah,
is
it's
it
a lot different.
I'm just making the thing. The fans just cling to any little thing they can. When it comes to Danny and Freddie,
I mean, look at how fired up our chat is right now.
Not even talking about like right or wrong.
And it's great. I mean,
They both are right. They both are wrong.
This is how
We've
the
talked to
discussion, I
Freddie.
believe.
We've talked to Danny. Danny is very intelligent on a lot of things. Knows a lot. Has a lot of correct opinions on a lot of things. Freddie is not really on social media, but is also a very smart kid, smart dude. Right? They don't even call him a kid. That's insulting.
He's a
But
great person. He's a great
right.
kid.
He's a great person to talk to. From my spot. Now I'm not in the industry in that way and stuff like that. So that maybe that changes it. But both of those guys have very smart things to say, and they do it different ways. And the fan bases just go at it because they want to track what they see. And
The
at the end of the
fan,
day, I think
the fan
it
bases
can be
think,
good.
right? The fan bases think they represent the drivers.
Right.
Neither fan base is nearly representative of those people that put the helmet on.
Right.
They're just not. We're idiots. Those guys are not idiots.
Absolutely.
Like they're smart, they're educated, they speak well, they're good race car drivers. But the fans create this image of who these people are. Freddie is not anything like people portray him to be.
No,
You
he's a
sit down
quiet.
and talk to
He's
him.
a
We've had him
quiet
on the
dude.
show.
He's a
Yeah.
We've
quiet
had him on the
dude.
show.
Once you get him talking, he's a little
Like,
dry humor, like Matt Kenseth, like dry humor,
like he
witty,
puts
like
but
that.
he puts a helmet on. He's a race car driver. Okay, we make these people out. These two guys, the fans, us, we make them out to be something like he's the next like Satan, right? This guy, that guy's he's a fucking meathead,
And whoever
whatever.
that guy is, that guy could
But
be.
that's just
it could be
not what the
ugly.
truth is. So it sells tickets. It keeps putting people in the stands. And they keep selling T-shirts. So I wish the discussion was more like what we're having versus Ramers are evil. Like they're not, but that's what we get, right?
At the same time,
That's what
and the other side is like Danny is right about a lot of things, and he's a smart guy. It's fun.
he's not
when you
always
talk
right
to
on the racetrack. He can be right about it, but it doesn't mean on the racetrack.
correct. And I think it's fun seeing now, like the more we do this, and I've gotten around more drivers and how they interact with each other, like the amount of respect in the pits that you would never know from the infield or the grandstands, and it's so much more fun to like. I mean, that's why the fans do it. It's one, they're dumb. Two, it's more fun to just think they hate each other. One's Spider-Man and one's whoever Spider-Man hates.
They kind of do hate each other, but
and that's okay. That's even better.
They should because of the way they race each other. I would too.
Right. But everyone has like the Earnhardt Gordon mentality, and we all know like they actually liked each other. But
Exactly.
those fan bases just want to kill each other no matter what.
The line that I draw is just the danger of it, because it can really end up getting somebody seriously hurt. And I know that sounds negative there, but it's dangerous when you start playing with that. And I just think there's got to be some type of line that you don't cross. Otherwise, you just go fight it out in the pits, which they've already done. So
Right.
I'm fine.
Right.
I'm great. I think the rivalry is great. Race each other hard, spin each other out. Just I just, like I said, this is an expensive sport. We don't have a lot of teams. I mean, Williamsgrove's having a hard time even getting 20 cars anymore. And it not. I'm just saying, is that going to bring more cars? Seeing that, I'm going to go on a Friday night to go get caught up in this bullshit. And I don't know. I think there's just got to be a line, and we'll see.
before we move on, because I know Aunt Bay and Kyle Spence want their moment in the sun, but I want to go back to something Ashley Capetta said, and I think it's key there with talking about the danger and the crashes being so many. I want to break that, kind of segment that down, because we go off Knoxville where there were so many big crashes, and there was so many crashes Friday night at Selinsgrove, and I don't know what's causing all the crashes. And there was a big one Friday night at Jackson, Tim Kading and somebody else. They were like, what's causing the big crashes? We know Bobby Allen had his theory on the tire and thing. Like, I think drivers.
Well, hold that thought. We'll get into that. That's a whole separate topic. I
I
don't
just
think
wanted
that
to
has
go in-
anything to do with this.
I was thinking about the driving styles, and just the not giving an inch style mentality anymore is kind of where I was going with it.
Okay.
That's why I was tying it in here, because that's what Danny was doing. They're not thinking about it. It's just like they're not giving an inch, and we saw it Friday night. Like, a lot of those crashes were because guys didn't give an inch or give 3 inches. It was, you need a spot now, you need it now. And we heard over the years midget racing was this way, and I think you're kind of just seeing some of that spill into the sprint car stuff.
Like what Charles Price said here, bad shit happens by accident enough. Don't need it to be done on purpose. Yeah, that's. I think that's kind of where my sentiment is just, there's got to be a line somewhere where you're not, But I mean,
It's still
I
hard
don't
racing. Like, it's a fine line between.
it's very fine line, and
It is.
I'm moving away from the Danny Freddie thing. I'm talking just everything that we saw.
We're not yet.
we're not.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're not done yet.
If you feel you've been done wrong on a racetrack, you decide your next actions. Those actions mean a lot. Do you let it go or not? Right? Those two don't let it go.
Yep.
Simple as that.
I agree. So hopefully,
Great race.
hopefully they can.
They won't.
I don't want to
As
even say
Jay-Z
settle
said.
their differences. Just
So Danny wins the feature finally.
Danny wins the feature after there was like
After
12
all
cars
that.
left.
Borden took the lead. I thought Borden was going to go. Once Borden got the lead, I thought he was gone.
Yeah, but Danny was coming.
Good on Danny. Got the lead. Got the win. Gets his moment.
Do you think that
probably
adds?
felt like?
Do you think that adds to the controversy? Is the fact that he won? You think if he
For
finished fourth place, do you
He's
think
the
it
one
would
that
have been as
got
big
to
of a
have
deal?
microphone in his face. He's the
Right.
one that got to get out after
Absolutely.
and speak his truth in front of the whole field. Good fans. I mean, dude, I was standing there in victory lane, and the people cheering and the people booing at the same time, 4 feet apart. Literally, what you see at Lincoln every week when Freddie wins. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
There was no different. They're yelling. The team is yelling at the fan that's yelling at them. One fan yelling, they're yelling back at the fan. Like, my guy, like, of course it fueled the fire because he got to get out and have a microphone in his face and got to say whatever he wanted to fucking say. And the whole crowd got to hear it versus Jeremy Elliott in a trailer somewhere. Right? No offense, but like,
Yep.
if you didn't pay for that article, you didn't even know the article existed.
Which go pay for the article. It's a very good article.
And he got a check and got to have the microphone in his face. Of course it fueled the fire, right?
He got the check, the trophy, and the microphone.
And finally got a win. Like, after the
Yeah.
way the year's gone, not only being fired up that he got a damn win, but the way it happened and the way it all went down.
Especially after his last post over vacation was a throwback to Lincoln, and he goes, "I want to get my balls back." Like, well, so suppose you called your shot there, buddy.
George brings up a good point too. We're coming up in the month of money. We're going to get real heated in some big money races here, where all the stakes are up. So it'll be interesting to see how that all turns out, and just hope it ends up for the best for everybody, for the whole product, not just for one side, or you know what I mean.
Nah. I'm kidding. So Danny wins. Jay-Z has a great shot of Danny Victor Lane, who's kind of pulling there and right, so they're egging it on. But the 58 feature, I was at home listening to it from my house.
What a loser.
I had so much fun that you don't even know. 6-year-old was dead on the big bean chair.
She was done. She was done.
I saw Jason away out, and she was already like, I was holding her in a 410.
Like, there's a human in that wagon. Like,
I was holding her in a 410, and I felt the arm go from like here to like Woody from Toy Story, just dropping like, she done.
I'm staying in 1 and 2 watching the feature, and as that feature is going on, here comes our buddy Steel City Seaman and our buddy Jaden. They're on the way out, and I'm like, bro, this is like this.
I didn't know Jaden was there.
Jaden was there. This is getting good. Well, then they stopped and they watched the rest of the feature, and I think they're probably glad they stayed because it was a hell of a freaking race. That was one of the better 358 races that I've seen, and that's really 2 358 races in a row with the Zach Newland and Cody Hartlaw race a few weeks back. They battled it like hell for that win. This one, it was Hammaker, it was the oof and the okay. Like they were going at it, man. It was entertaining, and I had a great time with it. And our buddy Kyle Spence, like I'm glad Kyle won. I'm happy if if Chris Frank was take that win, that would have been pretty cool. But I was standing there in turn two. I said, all I want to do is get the OOK and the OOF in my camera at the same time. And I got them both. I got the oof and the OOK in the same shot. But like it was entertaining. It was great. Chris Frank Kyle Spence did everything he needed to do and held off guys with a lot more experience at Williams Grove and took the win for his first career 358 win at Williams Grove. He was pumped. They didn't do any victory lanes till they were done. So they rolled out Norris, did victory lane. They rolled out Kyle, did victory lane. By that time, there were like people clearing out, and they didn't have the victory lane flagged for Kyle. So they'd wait till Dylan was done his pictures to get a victory lane flag. And then Kyle was like, "I'm going up top." He went not only up top, he stood on the top of the wing, stood on it. And there was like 13 fans left at this point. But I was like, "Hey, I'm one of them. I'm a fan. Let's go." I was hyped for him. So it was awesome to see. He did a hell of a job navigating lap traffic and navigating the lead, knowing when to move up and move down. I mean, he raced like a veteran for sure. So it was pretty cool.
I will say he did one thing wrong. He did break the streak of guests winning the following weekend because Chris Frank fell fourth. But still, I'm blaming Kyle.
Chris Frank looked really, really good.
We've had great timing this year on winners and then following it up with great races after.
Because we had Spence on here, and the next week he goes and wins Lincoln. You have to do Shuey, and now they're all cheering for it in the chat. Like you're like the most sought after guy ever now.
No.
Like,
the Williams Grove win is big, but it's not a national open.
Or Tuscarora 50, which was what he said on the show.
That's correct, Tuscarora 50.
So figure it out. Get that 410 in there.
Go win the Tusky 50, and we'll be doing
shoeys on the front stretch without shirts on a Tusky 50 if he wins.
I'm still holding myself to if any past guest wins the Tusky 50, I will do a shoey.
You're an idiot because there's a fair chance you're going to.
And we've had quite a bit.
I mean, you had Brett. It wasn't the greatest because of internet, but Brent Marks was on the show. And Freddie.
Hey, it's fine. Devin's definitely a threat
on
too.
There.
We'll go into that in a little bit.
If we just get Mike Walter,
yep.
AJ Flick.
We've had Halligan.
Halligan. All we need is Danny and Logan Wagner and Lance. You might be in trouble, buddy.
And maybe Macri if he's in a car.
Poor Macri.
Who?
Who?
He's retired, isn't he?
What about the Dirt Classic?
What about the Dirt Classic? That's I think that's fair.
Ant Bay, if you put a 410 in that thing any week and beat Freddie Raymer, I will do a shoey.
You know he finished third to him the other week, right?
I was gonna say.
Fine. Call my shot.
And he led
Cody.
Jay-Z took one for the team. I will do it for the team. If you can beat Freddie at Lincoln in a 410, I'll do a shoey. Ant Bay, make Kyle do
How
it.
long is this offer open till?
End of the year, obviously.
End of the year? Okay. Challenge accepted. There we go.
So, and if I do a shoey, I get a shirt. Otherwise, I'll just buy a shirt. It's fine.
So yeah, that was Williams Grove. What time did that all end? Like, because I was in the Central Time Zone. 11, it was like close to midnight.
Tony Sharp said 11:59. I saw in his stuff. I think that's pretty accurate because I was sitting there waiting for it to end, so I could open my house windows and not wake up the child or Brielle. And it was right
midnight.
there.
It was all of midnight. Okay. Which, I mean, in reality, that's a weekly Lincoln show. So it wasn't that bad.
I don't think
it's a little.
I don't think you could make up the amount of shit that happened to Williams Grove.
Yeah, it was
the worst possible night. Like,
I mean, we just talked about for 50 minutes now.
Right,
just about the one night of everything that happened.
Like you figure the makeup features that they ran were over later than the whole event would have been whenever they were supposed to be run because they were pushing the features off of 8:15 the night that rain came and everything else happened.
Yeah, the one week I don't go to freaking Lincoln, they're done by 10. They're done super early Saturday night. I
Maybe
heard. I'm
you're the
like, are
problem,
you
Jay
kidding
Z.
me?
Maybe Lincoln was right all along,
No,
and you're the
no,
problem.
I've been going to Lincoln for 20 years. Trust me.
So
I got
Friday night, I was at Lincoln Speedway in Illinois, watching some midgets, some 410s, Demoa 410s, and everything, and that place was pretty cool. It was really awesome to go see a different track. It's a cool little quarter mile, very, very, very similar, almost like a carbon copy of like Jacksonville, if you've ever seen that. Um, Pretty awesome. It was a good time. Packed grandstands. Um, it was pretty cool. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but I think Paul Nienheiser won the 410 race, which was pretty great. It was a pretty good 410 feature, and the midget race was pretty good. They were really battling it out, so it was a pretty cool little track. So they ran. I was an hour behind. Traveled across from PA to Illinois, lost an hour because of Central Time. I guess I gained an hour. Anyway, 5 features there, and it was still done like almost an hour and a half to 2 hours before Williamsgrove got to the hotel and ended up watching the end of all the Williamsgrove stuff. So yeah, that was Friday night. Saturday, Port Royal Dream Race is where you went to, Jay-Z. Tell us a little bit about that.
I mean, great night. The format was a little weird the way they did it. When they, the way they kind of pushed it and moved it. The way they did the qualifying was that the 24 that started the first one started the second one. It wasn't 2 separate events where you had, you could have non-qualifiers different. Um, it was pretty cool. They did it sort of like a Tusky 50. You could not change tires in the between the 2 features, even though it was 2 features. You couldn't change tires. If you did, you went to the back, and 2 cars changed tires. Actually, the winner of feature 1 changed the tire, Devin Borden, and that was a
Yeah,
awesome race. Borden doing Borden things. Ran Lance down, who got to the lead, took the lead, was running up front. Felt like we were at Port Royal, running the Lance line. Really, that like right in the middle, 50%. Got the thing on the right rear, and was just doing his thing. And Borden, it seemed like he picked a car off, pick a car off, pick a car off, and he was just ripping, knocking the fence down, and stole the win on the last lap. Chris, you got to
right.
get the camera thing there, bud.
Don't worry about me.
I'm very worried. Look at you.
Yeah, I'm always worried about Critter.
That's like if I'm at 12, 14 beers deep look right there, bud.
No, I had to go.
I'm only 2 though, but so I know there's something wrong.
I knew there was a problem whenever I have the Borden wing backwards and started to show. I'm just gonna leave it that way though. I'm a
So
mess.
Borden steals the win in that one. They have a break, and he puts a tire on. I don't know what. I don't know. I'm not sure what the deal was. Second feature, he pulled an 8 for an invert, by the way, so he would have started 8th, but he goes to the rear. Ends up getting caught up in a wreck with sliders with Mike Walter and someone else, so it was kind of shitty.
Did you see the GoPro footage from Mike Walter?
I have not. I just talked to
That
him. And I
was.
forgot to look at it.
I watched it. That was gnarly. That was a ride, dude. That was a ride. He went down.
Yeah, I mean, it was so Borden slides him going in the 3 and 4. And then they both catch a lapped car. I don't know if it was a lapped car or it was just a slower car in front of them. Like they caught him quick, right on the exit of 4, going onto the front stretch. And I think Devin thought he had more room, and he tried to get around that car and just tapped Walter, and they both go spinning. I know Walter was pretty mad. It looked like he was gonna like go and throw his helmet or something. Like, I don't know what he was gonna do, but he was pretty upset, and I get it because I mean he hasn't had any good luck there at Port Royal. He's been so close to running. He runs well there, and he's been so
He
close
lost the
to
lead with a
win.
blown tire 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago. 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, and he just hasn't had good luck, and so I can understand his frustration, but I don't personally. I don't put that. I feel like it's more of a racing deal than it's just ignorance by Borden. Maybe I don't know, but it was just shitty deal for both of them, and yeah, so that sucked. But Brent goes and wins the second feature, pretty much far and away. Once he was out there, he wasn't ever really challenged. So
Yeah,
good
he
for
kind of
Brett.
did it running the top of 1 and 2, making up ground there. Got by Sisney, and it was a little bit of a battle there. Sisney had a good car. He faded a little bit. Danny ended up second. Brent got by Danny pretty early in that feature. Danny was running sort of like the Lance line, just a touch higher, maybe like the 80% line. And then at the end of that feature, Danny did end up on the wall a little bit higher than where he was, but he probably needed to be on the wall from the start. I don't know his comfort level there. I don't see him run the wall very much at Port, so I don't think he's super comfortable up on the wall like Marks and Borden and Macri and Logan. But the running the wall 1 and 2 made a lot of money for people Saturday night. So that was where you needed to be to ultimately win the race. So
Yeah,
um,
I did see that, Jennifer, that Danny had a hole in the tire. But they
yeah,
started on the pole, so they just
he
kind
said
of
they knew they had a hole like in the brake, which I've never seen a hole not deflate by the time you take green. It's rare. If you know there's
right.
a hole and it's a noticeable enough hole, I don't know.
Well, I'm
I'm
guessing
sure it's truthful, but like
there's some science behind it, probably where I don't know, pump it
yeah,
up and
physics
get rolling.
actually.
Yeah, science, amoebas, whatever. So yes, Danny did say that. I don't know. I watched it on Flow. Looks
Same.
spicy.
Yeah, we were watching it. I think we were
Devin
watching it at
Borden.
all. I think we watched those features at Olive Garden after the race. It was pretty awesome. It was
Duct tape.
two good features. The track looked, at least from Flow, track looked awesome. Looked like you had, definitely multiple lines to run. Top was king unless you could run the middle or the bottom pretty well. But it was usually the easier way around lap traffic. So, yeah, it was awesome. It was great to see. A good turnout, it looked like, for him. I know this is a big race. What was also announced was, is it Mike Kleck that
Yes.
sponsored the race? They're bumping it up to now. Both those features on Saturday with $10,000 to win. Now next year they're going to be $15,000 to win each. So that's pretty cool. Trying
big.
to make it's all unsanctioned too. That was something that I think gets lost in the sauce here. Is unsanctioned show, 2 features, $15,000 to win
And I
each.
think that exactly. But we talked here before. The Dream Race has lost its luster over the years because it's used to be a Living Legends Dream Race representing Lance Deweese or whoever it was. They name your person. Now it's kind of like convoluted with a bunch of names, and it's kind of lost its prestige a little bit. I think that brings it back as the number 3 show at Port for the year as far as 410 sprint cars go.
Yeah.
It's hard to top the Weichert. Obviously, it's a big weekend, and you're not topping the 50, which is quickly trending to be the top 5 in the country. So,
Yep.
that's huge, and that's just more a testament to Port Royal and what that group is doing to build an event environment there. So I love it.
They've been bumping up their purse when many other tracks haven't been, and they, they're going out on a limb by doing that. You know what I mean? They're not just doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They're doing it and they've been getting rewarded with 3410 sprint cars almost every week.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Something else, I'm not going to gloat on Port too much, but we love doing that. This past weekend was free camping at Port for non-hookup stuff. They kind of rewarded the fans that were there for Speed Week and tried to support the track that, unlike you guys tried and got screwed because you weren't camping. But if you were trying to camp, free camping this weekend.
I believe you were able to still use your wristband too from Speed Week.
Things
night.
like that goes a long way to get the fan to keep coming back and make you love the place and make you not be so upset when they cancel at 3 o'clock or 10 o'clock or you're there and it rains or you're there and it's just a bad racetrack. Like the weather happened and it's single groove on the bottom or the top or whatever, which is rare at Port, but say it does. You're like, hey, you know what? Still had a good time at the track and I'm coming back next week because I love this place. And that's the foundation of a racetrack that I wish more tracks would take note of.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah. So Devin Borden, Brett Marks get the win. Both of the features of the Dream Race. I guess Devin Borden technically wins the Hodneck Classic, so he'll get his name on the shirt next year because they've been doing that, which is cool. I love when they do that.
I love the Dream Race shirts, so I'm here for that one.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, actually, both. But
Brent's 3rd Dream Race win. His first one was way back in like 2014, I think they said, and it was 2021 and now 2023. That was $100,000 total purse Saturday night.
Yeah.
$100,000 to cover. So I did the math. It was $30 a head. You need 3,300 people in there that paid $30. I looked around and I was like, I don't know. Would have loved to call Justin Snyder and been like, "How'd y'all make out there?" I would have been curious. Now there's sponsor money. There's these things that take part in the purse, but I would be curious of what the attendance was. It was pretty good. It was certainly better than a weekly show. It wasn't Tusky level, but it was pretty damn good. Very impressive. Greg Satterley wins the late model feature pretty handily. Really wasn't challenged a whole lot in that one. Did what he had to do. I was still entertained by it. Huge pileup entering one. A car just missed a corner, backed up across the track, collected 4 or 5. That was kind of wild. Gene Knob's car was destroyed when I walked through the pits on the way out. That thing was ugly. But there was a lot of names there that weren't there a lot this season to get ready for this coming weekend for the Lucas Oil Show coming in.
Yep.
That Tyler mentioned there. So oh shit, the names. The Cosner cars, 66. Oh man, the names are escaping my brain, but there was a lot of other local big names that were there in preparation for this weekend. So it was cool. It was a good field.
Yeah, this upcoming weekend they're I thought it was Saturday and Sunday. It's Friday and Saturday, I believe.
Correct.
For the Lucas Oil late models coming in, and Saturday caps it off with a $50,000 to win race for late models. No 410s, I don't believe at all. It's just all late models. So, that's kind of risky in PA. I feel like a little bit. You know what I mean? Because it's not. But yeah, like Tyler said, I would expect 60 cars this weekend at Port. I agree. I could see even more, maybe even so. The mods are the support class DUMP mods, so that's cool. That's something that is usually, run here every week. So hopefully get people to go out and support that. I think they will. I think you have a good core fan base there at Port, just like you do at any track, that will go out and support whatever they're running. So as they should, because they put on a good show. Lincoln, who won?
It's not who won, it's by how much.
It's
so
it's
not who won, it's by how much. And I believe it was 6 seconds.
Damn.
Or 4.6. I forget what I read, but it was multiple seconds. The 8 car, I want to say.
The 8 car. Who runs the 8 car?
Not Billy. Billy Dietrich.
That's the cool 8 card.
Yeah, that's the cool 8 car. The cool Dietrich, the cool 8 car.
Freddie Raymer gets another win from 10th, I believe. Half a lap. So 6-8 seconds, something like that. From 10th. Didn't sound like it was too much of a fight. And this is a week none of us were there.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on it other than I heard Freddie won. So
week after week we come back, and since we've been kind of regular here, this reminds me of years what his dad would do at that racetrack.
I think when we were looking back on it, I think there's only 3 features there this year that he hasn't won, outside of the Outlaws, I believe. I think like out of the regular shows, there's only 3 that he hasn't won.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's pretty incredible what they're doing.
It is, and listen, they're handicap shows. A lot of these are handicap shows. He's handicapped in the heat and the feature, not just pill draw, pull up front for a heat, and then get handicapped to 10th, 12th. It's handicapped for 7th or 8th in a heat, and then handicapped again in the features. So, I mean,
Tyler thinks he could beat Senior's record for 17 in a season. I don't know how many they have left, but he has 13 now, so he would.
They have enough.
They have enough. You damn know he's gonna go after that. So
because you have what Dirt Classics 2 days.
Dirt Classic,
and they have who won the other 3? Shit,
Danny's won one.
Danny did win one.
I would have to know if it's the Outlaw shows or otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think it was the Outlaw shows. I think it was just 3 without the Outlaw shows. But if it was the Outlaw shows, then
Danny, Macri,
Danny has 2. Peck has 1.
Peck, that's right. Peck has that one.
I was gonna say Peck, but
the beer shot.
Norris has 1.
Yeah, so there's 4. So now we're talking.
Yeah, but the Outlaw show didn't count the Outlaw show.
Chase Deeds.
Oh yeah, Deeds has 1. Did Mark?
Mark did 1. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't just the 3. But I
I think truly, I don't know. I read that stat somewhere too, though, that he's at 15 wins on the year, 12 at Lincoln.
About 13.
Should be 13-2. Well, no, because
13-2.
he wanted Big Diamond.
He won a Big Diamond.
Is it 12-2-1?
I think
it's a lot.
it's a lot.
It's a
Yeah.
lot.
He has one at the Grove,
It's a shit ton of wins.
Yes, he does.
one at Big Diamond.
I know.
2 at the Grove.
I think he has 2 at the Grove.
Yeah, I think it's 2 at the Grove because that was like the thing. It was like 10-2, and 11-2, and
1 at
12-2.
Big Diamond. He does have that quick time at Port Royal before the rain came, so that happened too.
Does that count as a win?
That's a win for the Raymer. That's a win for the Raymer family, man. Like, I mean, you go to Port Royal.
Port Royal.
A Raymer in a 51 at Port Royal, quick time.
Where's Tony Sharp when we need him?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. He's probably working a race tonight. It's like number 65 for the year.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when I added up how many I've been to this year, and then I look at guys like that, and I'm like,
Lincoln,
12 Lincoln, 2 Williamsgrove, 1 Big Diamond.
So there's been how many shows at Lincoln this year?
Oh, come on! Now you're pushing
That's
it.
why I thought it was 3 because I think it's like 6. Like he's like 13 out of 16 or something like that.
I think there's been like 15 regular shows. I don't know.
But I don't know if you're counting outlaw shows or not. I don't know if you're counting Speed Week or not.
Didn't he beat the Outlaws there? Or am I making that up in my head?
You're making that up in your head.
Not this year.
I tried, Freddie.
Definitely making that one up in your head.
Anyway,
so, let's move. Jay-Z's going to come with the stats.
He'll look it up. Sunday, Selinsgrove. You guys were there.
Yes.
20. There's been 20 races this year.
20 races, any 112. Okay, so it's a little bit more than 3.
Okay. So you have Chase Dietz, Justin Peck.
He needs to pump those numbers up.
Norris won. Moody won. Kyle Moody has a win. Dietrich 2. Chase Dietz 1. Peck 1. Macri 2. Rico Abreu 1.
Jimmy, can you tell him?
What?
Tyler beat him by like 3 minutes.
Yeah. He did.
Tyler, you're
put
slow.
That in as you're reading it.
Anyway,
shout out Tyler.
Comment, and I saw the 12-2-1 comment.
Yeah, whatever.
Troy does not have one there. He has a win at Williamsgrove.
And he has a second that weekend. Troy finished second to, I think, Freddie in that 27-car opening weekend.
Correct.
Big Troy.
So there's our official stats right now. It's Freddie's 12 for 21. That's more than half, right?
Yeah, that's pretty legit.
I don't know,
it's
man.
more than half. I'm not great with half of odd numbers, man.
Your half is different than other halves. Anyway, so either way, Freddie's dominant year. I don't know how many races are left. I do agree. He could get the seniors number, but dirt class is going to be tough.
Based on what I see here, it looks like he DNQ'd for 2 of those races.
Really? So...
No. That can't be right. That's just,
I wouldn't doubt that.
That's just crazy talk. Anyway, Selinsgrove.
Also, Circuit of Champions, the return to Selinsgrove.
Okay.
All-Stars have not been there since 2018. It was good to see them back. It's good to see Selinsgrove get a sanctioned race of some sort. And a good turnout. It was a very good turnout. It was a beautiful day. No rain at all.
That's true. Can confirm.
It was a good turnout for them, which is something that I think Selinsgrove really needed. And they put on a pretty good show. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't get there till I missed hot laps and time trials, so I got there right before the heat.
Tell you why momentarily.
Tell me why what?
We'll tell the people why you got there so late. I get to keep it continuously here.
I think Tyler Courtney went quick time. Tyler, real quick. Only 5 shows left at Lincoln this year, so Freddie could only tie Big Fred's record.
That's sadness.
But he has to be perfect the rest of the year, which is a tall task, but I would not put that past him.
Their classic's the key.
Yeah. So anyway, Selinsgrove, Tyler Courtney goes quick time. But taking home the victory overall was Zeb Wise, who pretty much ran away with it after he passed Kerry Matson in the dash ran away with that pretty much, and then he pretty much ran away with the feature. But there was a lot of battling going on behind him. Both Brent and Danny moved up 10 spots to finish third, and Brent moved up,
That's
I think,
solid today.
6th.
8th. He
Yeah.
wasn't in the dash. There was 6
Yeah,
in the dash.
I believe he was
I
like
want to say it was
plus 6th.
eighth. Yeah,
Six
I
or
looked
eight.
at it earlier. Danny was a hard charger, so I know plus 10 for him. So
Yeah, there was a couple that pulled off. I think Silent and Seth Sabo, maybe.
Somebody pulled off as soon as they took the green flag.
Two of them did because they were having motor issues, I think, or whatever issues. But it was still a pretty good race, caution free. Got into a lot of lap traffic. Seemed to be 2 lines. The top was definitely king, but the bottom came in a lot in 3 and 4 especially. Yeah, I thought it was good. It was good to see big time sprint cars out at Selinsgrove battling it out. I had a good time. How about you, Jay-Z?
Yeah, same. I had a great afternoon. They kept things moving. Saw everything, saw every victory lane, and was out by 10, 15.
Yeah.
Really nice job there. That helps when things go green for the most part. But it was fun to see, great competition. Not that we don't have it when we show up there, but that was an added level of competition. Even if the All Stars don't have 20 cars, Tyler Courtney, Zeb Wise, Kerry Madsen. I mean, these aren't slouches. Justin Peck was around all weekend. And it was good racing. And Zeb with the Ford power plant gets it done. Looked really good out front. Did what he had to do. I think Brent was faster than him at the end of that race, but he was too far back.
Yeah.
Because it went green.
Yeah, I think if there was a caution there at the end, he might have got him.
It would have been a battle for sure. And it was king, the clean air was king and trying to fight for it. And like you said, the bottom came in 3 and 4 at the end. Everybody kind of really came down to the bottom at the end. For a while, it was sort of slider lines in 3 and 4. Guys could really drive it in deep and come up off the wall, cushion on down the front stretch. Brent made quite a few gains passes there. Good run for Danny. He's good at Selinsgrove. Seems like all the time he's good there. Dylan Sisney's pretty good there. He had a pretty good run.
Yep.
I was impressed with Jake Carkland, to be honest. He timed 9th quick, transferred in, and I think he ran maybe 11th.
Yeah, he was right there, right around the top 10, almost.
Yeah, and found out this was his first weekend on ASCoC, so they put a new set of FKs on that car, and they dialed him in at Port a little bit. He had some other things going on at Port, didn't work, but he had a really good run at Selinsgrove, so did well there. Austin Bishop had a good run after getting torn up Friday night in that accident we won't bring up again. But a lot of good runs for people. We did have a few cars. Chase Dietz did blow up at the heat race. They went home early, and a couple cars pulled off, but it was still a lot of good runs for teams that needed them for sure.
Did not know about Chase Dietz. I know we're going to touch on it, but I still love what Chase Dietz is doing in that program.
Yeah, it sucked. He blew a motor, I think, right at the end of his heat race.
Yeah.
And
on the backstretch
yeah, and they were pulling out before even they were doing the dash, I believe, which sucked to see because he had to travel, like myself, had to travel a long way to get there because he was at Springfield on Saturday. So I was very surprised to see him there at Selinsgrove. It was pretty cool.
So before we go, I want to get to Jimmy's adventures in a minute, but you had 24 cars at Selinsgrove, and that's great. I love it. And we have another Sunday show at BAPS. I don't know what time it starts. I'm intrigued. What's the over on cars there for BAPS show on this Sunday?
25.
I don't think it's going to be much different. Right. I don't think it's going to be much different.
But it's different because there's no sanction. So you're not having those traveling guys.
Sure.
It's all local.
I would love Sunday to have 28 cars. I'm just trying to – we can come back to it. I just want to put in the chat, start thinking about car count for BAPS, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
But Chase Dietz, I want to go to that and to your Springfield thing. That was really good with Dave bringing that up.
Yeah, so
Tyler with the
Tyler's prediction: 24 410s and 26 358 modifieds. I think that's a good number. I think those are good numbers.
Really good number. It's a slight many modifieds for my liking.
As long as they start all 26 and don't run a B, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a B for 2 cars to go home. The BAPS number, most weeks, good weather. They haven't been there in a little while. They get some of those cars that
it looks good weather. this
Yeah,
Sunday
they
too.
got some of those cars that come out. Dwight Lepo and Gordon Seneft, and you'll get some other guys put in their. Logan Rumsey's been running his 410 there. Some of those guys will run those cars and helps. Not again, they're not field fillers by any
No,
means,
it's
but
just it's fun to see those
it
guys like
creates a
Dwight.
full field.
Actually,
So
you mentioned Dwight Lepo. I'm pretty sure he got top 10 Williams-Grove.
well, when 19 are there, and if you don't end up,
Hey, top 10 is top 10, buddy. Carry on.
he was there because he knew he was getting 500 to start. Like
Top 10.
let's be honest. Oh, and by the way, the BAP show at the end of the season. I saw another advertisement for that today. 20 grand to win,
That's
and it's
awesome.
1,000 to start.
1,000 to start. I saw that too.
$1,000 to start.
November 11th. Half price tickets until September 23rd, I think it is.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing that again. I'm definitely buying.
They're doing it again. So it's $15, I think, until September 20 something. And then even then, if you don't commit by then, it's 25% off until October 22nd. So
I know it's usually cold as balls at that point, but I love that show.
Cold as frozen balls, to be honest.
Yeah, I it's the very last show of the year.
It's awesome.
You start. It's the last time to see everybody again. Before you guys, we all go our separate ways for a couple months in the winter,
a month and a half, and then we go back to the icebreaker. But yeah,
to
your point, yes.
but that, and I really like the show. Well, they upped the ante because sometimes at that show you'll usually get the shark cars there. You know what I mean? Because the Outlaws are done. It's right after the World Finals. So that might entice some more that travel out for the World Finals. If the weather's looking good, they might say, hey, let's go to PA and run one more. $1,000 to start, it might be worth it.
Yeah, 20 grand, you're not going to get penalized. It's an outlaw track now. Geo, Peck.
Yeah.
You guys that want to keep racing and the weather looks good, I can't see why they wouldn't. You
just got to hope that they have good weather because it's going to be cold, but I remember driving there. It was sleeting and snowing on the way there, and they still ran. It was a couple years ago, and crowd was still good, racing was still great, but it might keep some away. Is all I'm saying. But let's hope not.
Up until September 21st, 50% off, $15 general admission ticket if you pre-order through My Race Pass before September 21st.
That's a great deal.
Yeah, it is.
I really, honestly, at $15, buy it early. If the weather sucks, you don't want to go. Hey, you lost $15.
Jay-Z getting into the backup Spence car for that race.
Just put a 2 on it and call me Denny Gross, baby.
But yeah. So a little tangent there. I didn't mean to go that way, but the BAFs, shouting again. Stewart. I forget the name of the race. Stewart Memorial, 20K to win, 1,000 to start, and it's solid purse all the way down. It's no joke.
Yeah. When I saw 25 to win, I was surprised, but then when I saw the breakdown for $1,000 to start, I was really shocked because I'm like,
and even all the way through the field, it's just solid purse all the way through the field, and I think he might be going to get a shoe. That's what I heard.
Maybe he's going to get a shoe to do a shoey.
He might be going to get the old clean shoe again.
Anyway, we'll go into next week here in a little bit. Still got a couple things to touch on from this past weekend. Before I get into Springfield, it was brought up here by Randy. I did want to bring it up. Tanner Holmes looking good in that Shark Racing car, taking over for Jacob Allen. If you haven't heard, it was very kind of surprising, but after we talked about it last Monday, because it happened right before we went on air. We heard about that news. He's looking really good out there. Jackson Nationals. It was basically every time I looked, it was 3 nights. Every night, the top 10 was the same. It felt like just maybe a little bit shuffled, but basically the top 10 cars were the top 10 cars. McFadden won the first 2 nights. Looked like he was going to win maybe the whole thing. And I think, was it Carson Macedo that won? But looked like a pretty cool event there. And they do points almost like it's like a mini Knoxville almost, both in the track the way it is and the format. So in a sense, but it was good for them. Good for Tanner Holmes, running really well. He went quick time the first night. He was running up there in the top 5 all weekend long. So good for him and good for that car. You know what I mean? It's Hopefully they could finish out the rest of the year here. As the Outlaws go west, they go to North Dakota here this upcoming weekend, and then they're out in California and Washington State for about a month until they come back, basically for Natty, Eldora, and then Natty, I believe.
Natty, Nittany, all the
Yep.
tracks. So see where it goes. So fans want to know, Jimmy,
So my experience in Springfield.
you were seeing, I think the term is fat bottom girls.
So Silver Crown out in the Springfield Mile. I got to go tag along with the Paragos, with Carmen Parago, who was running. I really, really thank them for letting me tag along and experience all that. I was blown away. The track is huge. The fairgrounds are huge. It's a beautiful fairgrounds, huge fair going on. Everything about it is just big, at least for me. And also, what's big is the speeds. It felt like an asphalt race to a sense of the speed and how locked down they were. And if you go on Mario Klauser's page on Facebook or whatever, he has a GoPro and he has a speedometer on it. They're going 150, 155 going into the corner, and then even the crazier part is like he's in the mid corner still doing 100, and he's twisting knobs for a suspension and everything. Like and they're all doing that. You know what I mean? So. Really, really awesome. He had to get there early. There's a tight frame. We had to get to the track at like 8 a.m. Get in there to park, and we were like one of the last ones in there. The whole front, there was already teams out there unloaded. Chase Dietz was out there, and he ran really, really well. He was fast in practice. He was top 5, I believe.
He was top 3 for most of the race. He was top 3, and then kind of, as he said, faded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he was still. 100 laps around. That's 100 miles. So
yeah, that's no joke.
Wait, let me do that math.
Yeah, 1 for 1. Yes. But it's definitely different. It gets a little dusty. The track got faster as the day went on a little bit, and then it kind of blew off even more. It's just awesome. Because I said it like. Going from there and then rushing back to get to Selinsgrove on Sunday. Selinsgrove felt so small and so slow in comparison. And no joke. Selinsgrove is still pretty big, and the 410s at Selinsgrove are still really, really fast. But the crowd was pretty good. I would say the cool part about it is you have this huge grandstand, and I would say that was about half full. But then you also have, it's a party in the infield right next to the pits basically too. Like we were riding the quad to go to the backstretch to watch like the B main and stuff like that. And there's people tailgated. You pay $20, you take a whole carload in of people. You could they're setting up grills and stuff and just standing in their tailgates, which I thought was pretty cool. So there's, and then the fair is packed as well. Yeah, it was a great time. Carmen's run. So the way the format was, there was almost 40. I think there ended up being 39 cars there, and the top 24 locked on time trials, and then 6 went from a consolation race, and just locked in on time. Didn't have to go run the consi, which was good. Just couldn't get him as comfortable as he needed to be, and then once it finally was comfortable, kind of for the feature, he started having brake issues, which when you're doing 150 going into the corner in a Silver Crown car, last thing you want is brake issues. So ended up pulling off after 70 laps, which still a feat in itself to be running almost the entire race, not knowing.
Right.
It wasn't that he completely lost brakes. It was like one time he'll go in, it would slow down. The next, it would go down all the way down to the floor, and he wouldn't have any brakes. So you got to be able to trust your brakes when you're trying to do that. And he's trying to pump like halfway down the front stretch, and you can't run like that. So, it was a hell of a feature. Logan Seavey was from the time we unloaded in the morning, just fastest all day. He's unbelievable in the Silver Crown car. He's a really underrated talent, I believe. He, just across the board, he's good at midgets. He's good in the sprint car. He's really good in the Silver Crown car. I've been to 4 Silver Crown races now, and he's won 3 of them. So he won at Selinsgrove, he won at Port Royal, and now he won here at Springfield. So he's been really good ever since he's gotten in there, and he had to earn it because there was a late move on Shane Cottle. Shane Cottle was very fast, and he had the lead, and then there was a late restart.
Dude, that restart, I put it in a chat somewhere. The little
Mhm.
kid from Talladega Nights said, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. I feel like Stevie had to say that to himself and like on that restart because he just like how he was able to go in there and pass him with that much difference in speed and make it stick and work was
That's
damn
the difference
impressive.
in your brakes is part of it because I know in earlier in the race Carmen was passing a couple cars, and because you can overcharge into the corner, get around somebody on the outside if you could trust your brakes, and that's kind of something I think Logan did. He just charged in there, got on the brakes, and got in front of him. It takes some balls to do that. So
Oh, we're well past balls and wheelbarrows when you're going 150 into turn 1. Like whenever you were saying about Carmen didn't have brakes, I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, Brett. If I had to question my brakes, I'm not going the lap 4. Like I'm parking my ass. Like no. I need to know my brakes are solid. And he was a lap 70. I didn't even know that. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, pulled off later there. He was running in front of Kaylee Bryson, and the leaders were starting to come up, and it was just getting worse. So pulled off, wasn't worth it at that point. So yeah, it was awesome, just an awesome experience. I definitely want to do it again. And I would highly suggest anybody out there, if you get an opportunity to go do it, go check that out because I think the coin is coming up too as well, which is also another mile. So if you ever get a chance to go see a mile dirt track, and especially in the Silver Crown cars, go do it because it just is. They run that at night. It is cool. So one reason why the Silver Crown races during the day, you have a tight window because they have concerts on that stage at night. I think Maren Morris was playing right after. As soon as Flow cut their broadcast, they start setting up. They start blasting music as we're setting up the pits. So it's like just an all day thing, even just going to the fair or whatever. It's a good time. You wouldn't be disappointed. And then, like I said, we went to Lincoln in Illinois the night before, and that was awesome. I was really impressed with that track. The 410s put on us. I'm sure the midgets were a lot of fun. There's modifieds, late models, and Hornets. There's only 3 of them, and one of them somehow flipped. But
what is your hoodie?
Huh?
Is that a new hoodie?
No, I've had this hoodie for a while.
I've never seen a hoodie in my life. Carry on. It's
But
the details, man. I'm all about the details.
But yeah, it was just all a good time. I learned a lot about, I tried to help them out as much as I can. I don't really know shit from shit, but
Wait,
I learned.
Did you work on the brakes?
No, I did not.
Thank God.
I did not. But they can blame me for it if they want to. That was bad luck. But
Just
yeah.
saying, if they taught you brake stuff.
The more I like follow that world a little bit, the more I realize Carmen Perigo is a dude. Like this guy is playing a young man's sport in a way, and he just gets it done, and he doesn't complain. He's not out loud about it. He's very like I getting to know Brett a little bit. They're just quiet dudes.
They just do their shit, dude. They
They
just
just
go
do
out
what they do, and they love it. And like Carmen is a dog. Like he's just a good old boy, tough guy.
They're like, give me the
Don't
parts,
say
we'll make it
much.
go vroom.
Yeah,
Brett was
super
even
impressive.
Brett was even saying it when we were there. He's like, I don't know if there's any drivers here that build their own motor. Carmen does. Carmen builds his own motor. He's the engine builder, and he's so in tune with everything on that car, to the point where when we're at the track, they don't really have to do much other than minor things. You see guys tearing apart their cars, don't have to do that because he's got good maintenance. He they do it right, and have a good time with it too. We had a great time. So shout out to them. Wish we would have had a little bit of a better result, but just to make it make it on time was a feat in its own, and to go 70 laps with not knowing if you're going to go into the corner with brakes or not is pretty
compromise brakes. Like, oh fuck that, I'm out.
Yeah,
but so I guess my question, obviously the racing's cool, but so you're riding in the hauler, okay? how many hours out there? You and 3 generations of Paragos just
Yeah,
trucking down the highway. Like, I want to hear more about that. Like, how was that? Like,
it was fun.
it's like
I
a
learned.
picture into like the racer life. Like, you're
Yeah, so
just riding down the hallway.
Friday I had to leave.
3 words to be said the whole trip out. Like
No,
just
see,
silent.
no, we talked for a while. I mean, you can only talk so much, and then it's like, all right, put the earbuds in and watch some TikTok or listen to some music or something. Because, I mean, it was so for me. It ended up being like over a 13-hour total trip in one day. Because for me to their shop is about 3 hours. I had to leave at like about 4:45 in the morning. Then we went from there, and we got to Lincoln, which is still about a half hour, 45 minutes or so from the track from Springfield. So we still had to drive about a half hour in the morning, Saturday morning, to make it all the way there. But yeah, just learned a lot from them about their history, and just got to know each other a lot on that trip, and had a good time. Yeah,
That's rough. Like, I don't know. Like,
it wasn't bad, honestly. I mean,
like,
I also
I
didn't
don't-
have.
I'm
I
thinking
gotta say,
I'm just saying,
Um,
if you put the 3 of us in a hauler for a 14-hour drive, we might kill each
I
other.
was gonna say, I also didn't have to drive at all. I would have if they wanted me to. I mean, I never drove off.
I'm just kidding. Jay-Z and I drove like 3 hours and we're good. Like,
But I mean, I also didn't have to drive, so that also helps. It didn't feel as long because we made stops along the way. We made a whole trip of it, so it didn't feel like, oh, we're pressed for time or anything like that. The only time I felt that was trying to get to Selinsgrove on time, because we didn't get back to his. We got back to their shop at about 4:45, almost 5 o'clock.
I was gonna say you're.
And so it was about 2.5 hours to Selinsgrove from there. So I got there right after time trials. I was booking, dude.
I wouldn't. I'm not gonna lie. Props to you for doing it. I would have given up on that dream somewhere around Saturday at noon.
Well, one, I had off of work today, so
But I don't
that
care
helped.
about that. I'm
And
saying
two, it was on my way home. So I mean, I had to pass through there to go home anyway. So it was like I might as well stay out. And I wanted to see the All-Stars at Selinsgrove because it's been a while. It's been like 5 years. So
I appreciate your dedication and props to you. You're not a part-time fan, no matter what Smeal says. But I can tell you this: I would not have done that. I would have taken my ass right home. But awesome, love to hear it.
Yeah, I had a great time and look forward to doing some more stuff like that. I definitely going out and seeing out because I never been to a track outside of PA until this weekend, and just seeing the different types. It's definitely different. There's pros and cons to it. The differences, but it's definitely. It's not like the whole time I'm like, man, I wish I was back at PA watching this, because it was like what I was watching was really awesome. It's just especially Friday night. I knew the Silver Crown race was going to be amazing, but and it's a different type of thing. If you're expecting slide jobs and all that, you're going to get some, but you're not going to necessarily get that. It's more about trying to make time every lap. It's an endurance thing for sure, and it does take rubber, but not in the way that you think like tracks around here would take rubber and it starts blowing tires out. It's not like that. You want it to actually lay a little bit of rubber so you can get the car to stay.
Like,
yeah.
So you talk about moving forward. So looking ahead, Friday night, the Paragos are back in play.
Yeah. So
my home track.
Yeah.
Selinsgrove, my home track. Jack Gunn Memorial, 8,000 to win for 410 sprint cars. Believe there's time trials.
Isn't it twin 20s?
Twin 20s for the sportsmen's. Wingless
and wingless.
Run 20-lap features. Features only for them. Invite only for them.
Yeah, invite only. No heats.
Jeremy, I read it today, and I figured out the weird thing. They changed the Jack Gunn Memorial from twin 2410s to twin 20 sportsman features. Those
wait.
Foxers.
Hold on. So there's one 410 feature.
And twin 20.
And they hand them a check. There's 2 sportsman wing features and
No.
2.
Whoa. A wing sportsman, wingless sportsman.
Oh, so there's 3 divisions and each have a feature. Okay, got it.
Yes. But only one of them has heat races.
Couldn't you just fucking said that?
I did say that.
It's not twin 20s. There's 3 divisions with a
that's
feature.
What they're saying.
It's what they're saying it is. I read it tonight when I was trying to whatever.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's
I think another
advertising gimmicky shit.
And here's another thing that's dumb. Wing sportsman run heats. See, wingless get the shaft, man.
So Brett's been lying to me for weeks. Whatever.
I thought both of them
Oh,
didn't run
right.
heats. Listen, here's my thing. If it's invite only, you're only going to get a max of 24 cars anyway. That's if all of them show up.
And they were gonna run.
You
both.
could split them up into 2 heats. How long?
You could,
2 6-lap heats. How long is it going to take, man? Like,
I don't know, man. I watched the Heat last 25 minutes Friday night. I've got trauma.
you guys just went to midnight. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just
Anyway,
for
that's
the
fine.
wingless to come all the way out, and now there's going to be guys that do double duty because they'll
Same
do both.
guys. It's the same.
But
guys.
it's not
Kinda.
because Brett's not running wing.
No, a large portion.
Right, so maybe that's part of it too, I guess. But I mean, for the wingless guys to just go out, do a couple hot laps, pull a pill, and there you go run a feature now. I think is kind of
it's kind of lame. It's kind of lame. I agree, but I think the teams may have
at least
done
your timed hot
themselves.
laps or something.
You know what's not lame? Someone should come up with a
Only 3 guys running both. You were wrong, Chris.
$250 bonus for the wing sportsman who can pull the right front up the highest. Down straightaway. That's what I want to see. That's not lame.
Anyway,
I'm with you.
Back to the topic because we're gonna just fight over this. I don't even know what we're fighting over. I'm just happy Brett's racing.
So
Friday
yeah,
night.
so Friday night
there.
we'll be there with Brett. Come see us because we're going to be selling some Brett Perigo merch for a little bit. Hopefully in the midway is what we're planning on doing. Keep an eye on their socials. He's got some fly shirts. I mean, this is what the back looks like. Very, very nice shirt. Very great quality shirt. And the only thing that's missing is the T2T logo that's actually on there now. But
so Brett Perigo, big friend of the show. Our logo front and center. So when he wins the feature, you will see it because we're gonna make him park the other way in Victory Lane. Big friend. So we'll be there. So we're doing $20 shirts, $20 t-shirts, $30 hoodies. If you mention the show promo,
mention that you see the promo, mention the show in some way, and you'll get $5 off. It will be $20. It'll be $15 for a t-shirt.
What?
Yes. And if you can't be there Friday night, because I know some of you guys like Aunt Bay are racing Big Diamond and stuff. If you want a shirt, message Brett Perigo on Facebook.
Yes.
Also mention the show, $5 off.
Yes. So come see us. We'll be there.
Where are we going to be?
We're going to be in the midway.
We're planning on being in the midway, but we'll see how that goes.
69K spot.
We're trying.
we might.
We did.
69K spot.
We did reach out about that spot. We asked Linda, but we'll see.
If you're listening, Billy, get Heather and ask if that spot's available.
It looked barely available on Friday night.
Can we just walk in there? Like, how does that work? How long do we have to be?
I'm asking them because I saw Heather and Billy and Chris Frank's merch where their normal spot is. The 69K merch was also open, so maybe we can just slide down beside them and we could all sell shirts.
Basically the same. Perigo's been around that long. Same thing. 69K, 2A.
Yeah. Hey,
2A might have outlived the 69K. We don't know. So, either way, watch the socials. We'll tell you where we're at.
We'll take a picture and stuff. If not, if you're at Williamsgrove, come find us. We'll be there. Worst case scenario, we'll be at Brett's trailer in the pits after the race.
And we have Sharpies. I told Brett I'd have a Sharpie, so we had his auto. Brett Perigo is a good-looking guy. He won his auto. Just telling you, have you seen his... Dude, he won his auto. I don't care who you are.
Pat Sullivan's out for Brett Perigo T. If you can't be there on Friday, let us know. We'll get you in contact. We'll make sure you're taken care of. But if you're there on Friday, just come up and come chat with us, and we'll get you. We'll get you.
Yeah, like I said, Brett Perigo, Facebook, message him if you can't be around and don't want to talk to us, which would be insulting, but it's fine. Anyway, Saturday, what's going on?
Saturday.
Lincoln has a race. I'm guessing.
Lincoln has a race.
Lucas Oil at Port
Royal, the $50,000 to win race.
I was thinking more like Jay-Z is going to go to Lincoln. Jimmy's going to go to watch it.
Yeah, I might go to Port.
I really want to go to Port, but I don't know. My Saturday night plans, I'm always 50-50. This weekend I was dream race for sure. Wanted to experience that. Wanted to do that. I love Port Royal.
Going to offend some people. Daytona's Saturday night, right?
What's that?
Daytona is Saturday night, right?
Who gives a shit?
I do. I want to watch Daytona at home.
Daytona what? Cup?
The regular season cup finale.
No, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's about where I'm at.
Yeah.
But I'm at home, so I can at least turn it on TV and do whatever I want to do.
Honestly, there isn't a NASCAR race that would keep me home from a dirt track anymore.
Yeah.
Like there just isn't.
Right. My point was, I'm not going to watch anything at Port that has late models, and I don't want to go to Lincoln.
You're severely. See,
I'm
here's what-
deranged. I have a problem.
You're picky there, aren't you, bud?
Yeah, I want to go to BAPS on Sunday mostly.
There you go.
How
Baps
dare you
on
have all
Sunday.
that dirt memorabilia behind you?
Yeah.
Which one?
You
All of it.
all that dirt memorabilia, and you're not even gonna go to the
Daytona.
racetrack?
Daytona,
poser.
broken wheels and shit.
You poser.
No, doesn't work out for me Saturday night, so I'll be watching at least at some point Daytona. I don't know when, but will not be at Port. But I hope they have a great night, and I hope Jimmy, if you go, you get some cool stuff because Lucas Oil playoff for Lucas Oil, correct?
Yeah, they're doing some playoff thing, and I've never
Overton
been.
is out.
I've been to a World of Outlaw late model race just at Bloomsburg, but I've never been to a Lucas Oil show, and I hear Lucas Oil is the far superior late model series. So I think it would be cool to go see.
That's
Oh,
offensive.
we're about to get banned by World
you
Racers
fucking
now. Come on,
serious?
man.
I'm just saying
Why
what
do
I'm
you
told.
have
I
to
don't
be
know
such a-
anything about late models. So.
Who's gonna get shut down?
But I want to go. I want to go check it out because I think I think it Port. If I'm gonna go watch late models anywhere, it's gonna be Port Royal because they put on such a great
Facts.
show. Look at
Agree.
Tyler
I
even
agree with
says
Jimmy.
Lucas Oil shows are way better than
That's
World
fine.
of Outlaw late
He
model
can say
shows.
that. You can't say that.
Why can't I
Um,
say it?
I don't know. I made that up. Either way, you should. Port late models are fantastic. And last I heard, as of yesterday, Brandon Overton is 5 points out of the playoff.
Dude, I don't even know. You know more than I do.
DirtTracker.com. Justin Fiedler has me hooked up. He slips them in there and makes me listen to it. And I respect him. So
Yeah, he's a professional. Go listen to him
Yeah.
for that shit.
yeah, last I heard, Brandon Overton, it's important because Overton, the championship race is Eldora, whatever it is. Overton is 5 points out. He's got to get back in. So
Damn.
watch
Overton's
Dirt
pretty good.
Tracker.
Right? Yeah.
Huh? Overton is very good, but
They have a good roster.
I'm
for sure.
I'm learning the late model stuff a little bit.
if
I
you want
listen-
to learn more
I
about
don't
late
watch
model
them,
stuff,
but I listen.
DirtTracker.com. Go watch Justin Fiedler's YouTube. You'll learn. It's like ESPN back in days of Thunder days.
So I want to touch back on something because it's come up a few times in chat here, and I think we should probably give our thoughts on it a little bit. And Randy says here, thoughts on Bobby Allen's comments on the new Hoosier tire. And we started going into it a little bit before, but I think we should probably, and Chris is gone now.
I'm still here. But go ahead.
Neva.
I'll be right back.
So his kind of part of what he was saying is the new tire is a reason for so many wrecks because the guys are out of control because they don't have as much grip and it's changed a lot. I think we all know that the new tire has changed a lot, in sprint car racing. Is it the reason for more wrecks, more severe wrecks?
No.
I don't know. Maybe it has a hand in it a little bit because they're out of control. But at the end of the day, that's on the driver. I feel, I mean, you got to get your car under control.
Yes.
You're going to have different grip levels, whether it's the tire, whether it's the track. It's always a moving thing. So
The whole idea of the tire was to unhook these cars a little bit, and it has worked.
yes,
With the tires being unhooked, a little less predictable per se, a little harder. It's taking some guys longer to get a hold of it. What I hear is that they wear a little better in the slick, but they're not as grippy drive off. But when the track is heavy, they're actually really freaking fast. So it kind of plays into what Bobby Allen's saying here.
Yeah.
So it's different for sure. It has unhooked the cars a little bit. That has made the competition to race closer with each other. And it turns out open wheel cars that when they make contact, they crash. And when they crash at high speeds, they crash big. Maybe it's because we're seeing some of these because the areas that these cars are racing in at the times they're getting close to each other and crash, they're going really fucking fast, it turns out. Who knew? I don't think that is it a byproduct of the tire? Sure, maybe. Is it a byproduct of everybody wants to have a season Brent Marks had last year? Sure, maybe. But that's why we sign up and we pay our damn fees to get in. That's why we go.
Yep.
We're fans. That's why
I was going to say, is it true what he's saying? I would say so. Is it a problem? Is it because he's trying to make it that it's out to be a problem? I don't know.
I'm
I
with
don't
you.
think it's a problem. I think
Yeah.
it's a
I
product
think-
of what we all needed in sprint cars.
I think it's tire here, aggression, and he's connecting dots. I think honestly, it's the drivers. The big crashes are not tire related. Maybe not all the way.
But it's a
Yeah.
byproduct of
Sure, but I think it's just
Maybe it's
mentality.
perfectly
It's the
into it.
mentality of these drivers is don't give an inch. And we saw it. I mentioned it, midgets.
But,
Some of it's
is that
tire
all the
because
tire?
they have to. I don't think so, though.
Yeah.
I really don't think so. And I'm not a driver, so I'm an idiot.
There's
So,
nothing. I don't think there's anything we can hang scientifically that can prove this. But the
That-
only thing I can compare it to, and I hate to go this way, but the only thing I can compare it to is NASCAR. Okay, they changed the car to be equal. They changed the car to be the same as everyone else. No one can give up a spot. They battle for every inch. It's not like the old days in NASCAR where the guy behind you is faster. Let him go. I'll see you in 50 laps.
right.
That doesn't exist, right?
But
It never existed in sprint cars, number one.
Tire,
But this tire has brought the field closer together.
arrow,
I think the competition is closer together, and guys are
Engine.
trying to get everything they can every time. Every lap matters, Jimmy.
I mean, that matters because tire, arrow, engine. Like everything is so close now. I don't want to pinpoint a new tire for that. It's
Yeah, but that's the only thing that's changed. This year's been different,
mindset.
is what they're saying.
Mindset. Let's just talk about the 3 big crash at Selinsgrove. The Whittle crash,
Okay?
the other crash. It's guys being aggressive on the straightaway.
No, that was a mistake, the Whittle crash.
Aggressive. Freddie's arcing the car out. It's aggression to some degree. It's aggression because you're not racing a guy. You need to enter a certain way. It's the same way. Chopping. You're doing these aggressive maneuvers, and we're learning the outcome of them.
Because of the tires? We're doing those aggressive maneuvers because of the tires? I don't
I think you're doing it because of the total package. He
Right.
said the NASCAR thing, the cart,
Or
the
were they
arrow,
in-
the
yeah, but-
engine, the tire, all of it.
Were they? That's right. Don't fuck around in iRacing, bro. You'll get one. Listen. But if they made these same moves last year and they didn't crash, what changed?
Right, the tire.
Is the car
Maybe,
reacting
but
differently to these
I
aggressive
Don't.
moves?
I think my point is that the car's not reacting differently. I mean, I'm sure it is to the crew chief and the smart people. I'm sure
That
it
is actually happening. That is proof. There's proof
Well,
of
I'm
that.
saying
happening.
is, I'm sure that yes, over the course of a run, the car is reacting differently. But some of the moves I'm seeing causing these big crashes is not because the tires acting anything. They're on the fucking straightaway. That's
No,
what I'm
that was
saying.
lack of awareness. There's a difference. That had nothing to
just-
do with the tire.
They're
talking
also
about
only
William-
at Williamsgrove.
You talked
you
about
brought-
Williams Grove.
No,
You talked
I
about
didn't
Williams
bring
Grove.
up Williams Grove.
Three
You brought
cra-
up Williams
What I'm
Grove.
saying is,
I
we
said
talk about-
no at the
I'm
beginning.
talking about 3 crashes from Williams Grove.
None of them had to do with the tire.
Okay, Mark Smith at Port Royal went through the fence. Tire.
I wasn't there.
Okay,
No.
Knoxville. Any of the big crashes at Knoxville. Tire.
Well, didn't
not
Messina
Brian
had
Sweet.
to break?
I'm talking about, I guess, championship night specifically with what's his face in Elon
Coney Island down the front stretch?
down the front stretch. Tire.
No.
D main. Tire. No.
Anybody who jumped someone's right rear because the car in front of them was out of control? Sure, could be.
Peck.
No, somebody fucked up on. Well, yeah, it could be on a start
No, Peck when he hit Hunshow. It's
at Bridgeport.
It's-
I could.
it's that tight. It's just literally that tight of racing. And it could be tire, it could be otherwise. I'm saying it's some of it's driver mentality. And drivers need to start owning that mentality a little bit. Justin Peck hopped Sheldon Hoddenshield's right rear, not because his right rear tire didn't sit the same way on the fucking cushion. He hit it because he needed to be that close to Sheldon Hodenshield, had a run, and he messed up and jumped it and damn near died.
But would it have been
So-
the same way? Would it have been the same way with the old tire last year if he did the same thing?
Who knows? But
We don't know, and that's the thing. We
But
don't
it's-
know.
the
But
tire
Bobby
being a
Allen's saying
scapegoat.
that Bobby Allen's. It's not a scapegoat. He's not blaming the tire.
Not Bobby Allen. I'm saying you can't blame the tire for everything. I'm saying is that's an easy
Well,
way out though.
I'm
These
aware
big
of that.
crashes, the drivers are 75% of the problem in these big crashes, is what I'm
You
saying.
put a number on it. Damn, that's pretty scientific, bro.
75%.
75%.
I'm not that smart or analytical to be able to do that.
Same.
I'm an idiot. I just know it's factoring in to more than we probably even know as fans. Some of this shit.
Amanda, I told you we would kill each other.
Amanda,
I
I would
told
love
you
to
we would
see
kill
you
each
three
other.
on a long 13-hour trip talking racing.
We would kill each other. I told you this.
We try to
Listen,
make it interesting.
they can have all the opinions they want. They just have to know that they're going to be wrong. Like
He's such a Denny Hamlin. Whatever. I stand by it. I think
it was an interesting post that Bobby made.
it is. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
And I know, there's some. It's kind of been divisional a little bit, but I think at the end of the day, I'm with Chris. I think it's a lot more driver mentality. It's getting used to the new tire. Maybe but I don't think it's caused harder wrecks. Maybe more wrecks. I don't think it's caused harder wrecks, but I'm probably way off base.
Who knows? Maybe
No,
Danny should have done this.
I agree with you, Jimmy, though, that like in that regard, like more, yes. It happens to be some of them are bigger than others. So maybe there's something there with the frequency of them in general have created bigger ones because of where they're happening, just racing. Racing in general. They don't all happen at the slowest point of the track, right? So combination of trying to get everything they can, racing closer together. I don't know.
For sure.
Somebody has to have a stat of yellows or reds per race or something out there. Like
I figure Wikipedia would have been on it by now.
You're right. Wikipedia.
410 Racing, and well, that's the thing.
Wikipedia. He'd be all over it if he.
There's some divisions out there that still haven't gone to the new tire, so it's like it would have to be like Outlaws. It would have to be Outlaw only.
Oh, Bigfoot just right in front of Jimmy. Holy hell!
Cat's just walking all over everything right now.
No, but
he has one of them like feather dusters in the middle of the show. No, that's a cat. That's actually an animal.
But my point was like to that exact point. Like, midget racing. T-Mez talked about it. Like, just I think we're just seeing those guys evolve to the next level. They're just
midget racing. Those things are assholes. They just slide or die. It doesn't matter.
And I think we are seeing some of that creep into
everything. It's every film racing, basically.
Right. I'm not even going to label 410.
Go watch Bowman Gray.
Late models, that's a different animal. Bowman Gray just watched SmackDown Friday night. Like, hey, let's go top that. But I don't know. It's hard for me as a non-driver to pinpoint type, but I'm sure science guys will tell us. I'm sure there is a difference. There's obviously a difference. It's a different fucking tire.
Hey, by the way, did you guys see the Dr. Phil episode with the sprint car driver on it?
Ashton Thorgerson.
Yeah, who got launched out at Chili Bowl.
The clip or whatever. I want to go watch all of it now. Like, that's something I never thought I'd put two things together. I got to see how he dissected that whole situation.
Tyler says, I can say that Williamsgrove had the most reds in a single show for 2003 so far in PA on Friday, which was 6, and that's nowhere near the record for one night at the Grove.
Yeah, new tires, savage.
Well, when 19 cars show up versus 55, I mean, that matters.
Yeah.
Move the goalpost. Anyway, what's next?
I think that's really it. I think we talked about everything.
I think we talked about everything. Let us know in the chat. We will get
Should we have Dr. Phil on?
Yes.
I don't think we can afford that.
No, that's true.
The record is 13 at Williamsgrove. Damn.
Hey, can you put up a picture of Aunt Bay I sent you earlier?
Yeah, I was about to get to that.
Because he's still chiming in.
Yeah,
and we love Aunt Bay.
We got to show this awesome picture of Aunt Bay.
Winning crew chief from Friday night with our good buddy.
Look at that.
His friend Kyle.
Look at how happy he is.
He's so happy right about now.
He thought he was in this look how handsome he is.
Nah,
he had no idea Kyle was there. Like
he thought he was getting.
I thought he was smiling because he knew he was there.
Oh.
He had zero idea Kyle was there.
But he thinks he's getting a movie shot. Look at that.
Fixed his hat, put his glasses on.
He even chipped his beard real quick before this happened. Like, you don't even know.
Beard a couple times, making sure it was straight.
He just knew. Meanwhile, Kyle's back there just licking his earlobe.
But definitely, congrats, Ant and Kyle again on their win at Williamsgrove. I know that means a lot to Ant, and it was awesome to see.
And we talked. Somebody asked this in Victory Lane. Went Friday night and said, "Ask Kyle how many wins is that for you for the season? He said 2. 358 Lincoln win and a 358 Williams-Grove win. He hasn't won in a midget or micro this year, which is wild,
Yeah,
right?
he
Like,
ran
It is wild.
well.
he ran well. He's had good runs,
Yeah.
but he's only won in a win car this year twice.
And I did.
He's a win guy now.
I did. That's true. I did
I
see
agree.
Ant talk about the importance of that Williams-Grove win for him, and that's awesome to see. It's one of the ones that he wanted to win a feature at Williams-Grove, and that's awesome to see. So,
I thought he hasn't won in a because he did he ran some of micros.
He went out to Illinois.
I think I was
He
talking about.
ran 600
Ant.
speed week.
I was thinking I was talking Ant specifically.
Mhm.
I saw the post quickly, so yeah.
Anything else?
No.
I think
No,
I think
I got nothing. See
yeah,
y'all Friday night.
He hasn't won in a micro yet. Yeah.
So see y'all Friday night. Remember?
Yeah, Friday night.
Right,
Make
go.
sure if you're at
Big
Williams-Grove,
Diamond?
come see us.
We're going to Big Diamond?
No, you are. Maybe. Are
No.
you? Are you?
Sorry, we're reading comments.
Yeah, we're reading comments here.
Papa
Hey,
Strickler
hold on.
comes in here dropping
Hold on,
the hammer.
hold on. We're ending this on Drink It or Dump It. We
Oh,
haven't done this.
Yeah, we haven't done that in forever.
We've done it forever. It's Drink It or Dump It. Drink it and dump it because we don't do or, we do
Yeah.
both. So,
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So drink it, dump it.
yeah.
Cheers to one thing that you saw great this weekend. Pour one out, dump it for something that you are either sad about, some way, angry, sad, whatever. Put them in the chat what you guys want. Chris, you want to go first?
Sure. Go first. Dumping it. Jordan Givler Saturday night caught up in LMS, destroyed the top wing again. Coincidentally, talked to Dakota Friday night because I just got his front wing side panel, and he goes, "If I break one more thing, I might go kill someone." Well, bad luck happened Saturday night. Turns out the car is not terrible, just mostly cosmetic, expensive wing stuff and some header. But dump it for Jordan Givler. I mean, they start building pace, and then some bad luck happens.
Oh, this is gold. I'm sorry. Go ahead, keep going.
I hate that. And then I don't know what that means, but drink it. Leave the low hanging stuff.
You're first. Take it. There's plenty.
You're right. And that's how drink it for Ant Bay and Kyle Spence getting the win there. That was big. I love it. I love seeing them win, building momentum, get back into it, and I would love to see them steal a 410 show or Freddie so I can do a shoey.
Jimmy? No.
I'm gonna drink it to the Paragos for taking me out for an awesome experience going out to Springfield. Definitely would like to do that again. And dump it for brakes. When brakes don't work, it makes it a little bit of a bummer.
Definitely don't want to dump your brakes though. I mean,
but also dump it for Kyle Keene because that sucked. If you didn't see what happened to him, something just broke and he went into turn 4.
yeah,
Dirt Station actually has a video of it.
DirtStation.com.
And man, that was rough. The whole thing's destroyed, but thankfully he's okay, and that's what matters at the end of the day, to be honest.
Right.
But that was nasty. It's going to be a while till he's probably back out on the track.
Like just typo in that. DirtStation.com has the video of the car just going straight. Keen Motorsports, Kyle Keen, shared the frame that's straight bent from that crash. And if you want to go see it, that's pretty gnarly.
Go ahead, Jay-Z.
The fun part about drink it is I can spin it in any way I want, and I'm a sales guy at heart, so I can make it work.
Light him up.
The easy one is Kyle Spence, but listen, that guy's a winner, man. It doesn't should be drink it to a guy who should be winning every week. Like, step it up, Kyle. Get your shit together.
Fucking drops the hammer in the drink it up.
More okay than that. No, there's a lot of them here. Lucas Wolf winning in the first time out in that new scheme. Sponsors that have a recognizable name in our sport are important to have success with something that fast, like Kyle Reinhardt winning with him. He got the Coors on the front wing at BAPS that week. He went out and won the first week with it. Old Milwaukee on the wing, Lucas Wolf getting a win, a popular win at Williams Grove is cool. So drink it to that, I think, and dump it to. Unfortunately, in the racing community, Tony Stewart driver Ashley Albertson lost her life in a car wreck this weekend, just on the road. Super tragic. Young woman lost her life. So dump it to that family and everybody, and kind of Tony Stewart Racing and that whole community and family. I don't know much about that name, her career, but super, just one of those things in the community that's kind of made some waves around. So Ashley Albertson, her family, thoughts were nobodies, but thoughts with her family for sure. That's all I got.
Yeah, bummer for them. Go to Amp Bay here. Dump it for Fletcher Friday and Saturday. Terrible luck weekend for those guys. I'm gonna expand on his. Let's drink it to this photo. This is the last time he was in. Hold on, let me get this off. This is the last time he was in
Williams Grove
Victory Lane. This is the picture he sent. I'm assuming that's him.
Is he the little guy on the right?
Is it like the kid
Cold as hell.
in the Christmas story that falls in the snow and can't get up?
He's the little guy on the right.
So that's cool. That's awesome.
2004.
2004. Get to a couple others here. Zach says, drink it to Carson, and dump it to Lance getting passed by Borden on the last lap. Yeah, that was I really thought, because Lance has been getting better and better in that 39M. And I know the question was raised before, what's going to happen with Macri and also what's going to happen with Sanders, because Sanders was only in that 39M till the Jackson Nationals. Wonder if they keep that going or if they just go all Lance now from here on out locally at Homestead. Something to keep an eye on.
It was a weird alternate universe watching Saturday night, watching the 69K rip the fence and the 39 roll the bottom. It was a universe, it's shit you create on the iRacing game on PlayStation. You get shit backwards. Nothing made sense.
NASCAR 2004.
Yeah,
you're in this card.
It doesn't make any sense. Everything was out of whack, and except Borden ripping, knocking the fence down and winning. So that was what we expected for sure. But it was wild to watch, and I was like, what is happening? I forgot who was in what car for a minute. There was so much shit going on at the same time. I'm like, wait, who do I like here? Who am I rooting for? Wait, I don't know what's happening. I was so confused what I'm supposed to be doing.
I was kind of confused, coming to the line. I didn't care who won.
Yeah, I was entertained.
It was awesome.
I was entertained, so it was good shit.
George Wood here. I'm going to pour it out for Kim having to put up with Jimmy's bullshit again after the Springfield trip.
True.
Fucking agree.
I will agree with that, I guess.
Kim might be the strongest woman in America.
No, she will. No, she is. She will beat you up.
Kim. What Jeremy said. I don't know. I don't even know why Jimmy went home, to be honest.
He's stabbed in his sleep.
Love you, Kim.
I guess.
Right back to this.
Sharon Speedway is for sale. But I ate an edible that night, so I'm not sure.
I did see that.
Shout out,
$3 million. $3 million for that.
Bro. Love it.
No, you saw it right. You weren't that high. I mean, I'm sure you were high, but you did read it right.
It didn't sink in yet. $3 million.
I got reposted from 2006 or something.
No, yeah. I think someone said that, but I saw it again. Dirt Tracker picked it up, and I saw it again, an actual article.
Okay.
So there's a bunch of tracks for sale.
I saw it.
Lawrenceburg just lost. Lawrenceburg lost.
I think it's one of those.
Yeah.
It's one of those $3 million. We're not trying to sell, but if someone's going to give us $3 million, then you can have it.
I think that track that's up in New York.
Don't blame them. State Line.
State Line is up for sale still, or again, I don't know which. And then you also got Sharon up for sale.
Well, here's a rumor. Here's a rumor we can all say. Jimmy's buying all of them and promoting all of them. So
make me a promoter. I'll waste all your money.
No,
but it'll be a fun time.
Them, so.
No,
for a short
time. How that works.
It'd be a fun time for a short time.
Chris Noel, drink it for Wolf and dump it for Alan Gustafson.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
This is
Mr.
the
Noel.
NASCAR
I'm not talking
podcast.
about NASCAR, but with this, Gustafson
No.
is an idiot. He's been an idiot. Always been an idiot. Screw Jeff Gordon. He's an idiot.
The best account on Twitter right now is the account that shows the lap statistics, and it shows the data. If you accumulate all the laps ran, Chase Elliott was one of the slowest cars of the top 15 at Watkins Glen. Doesn't matter what Allen did; that car was shit from the
Yeah,
gate.
they had to make the gamble.
I don't care what your story is. Allen's an idiot.
That car
Anyway,
was slow. He had to take.
I've hated him for the last 15 years. I don't care. Anyway,
drink it.
Wow.
Hey, happy old season and Merry Christmas, Chase. Fuck out of here. He's a bum.
Kimberly Teresa says,
Let's just skip
go
that
fuck
one.
yourself.
Let's not do profanity. We're a family-friendly show.
She could go F yourself. She seems friendly.
Burley.
She's friendly.
She's friendly.
It's fine. It's a dog. She's a dog.
That's Ampe says drink it for Cody for going to the work area Saturday and driving it back to town. Cody's a beast. We know that.
Cody
That's
is
awesome.
a beast.
And then dump it to Chase blowing up on the last lap. He in a dash spot. Yeah, he was looking good at Selinsgrove, which I don't think is that his first time to Selinsgrove, because I don't think I've ever remember seeing him there.
I'm sure he drove the 75 or something.
Yeah, maybe.
So.
Speaking of Cody, Williams Grove, I wish I had that photo ready for tonight. Chad Criswell spun out on his own in middle 1 and 2 in the 358 feature, and Cody Hartlaw was already running the top, and they met nose to nose perfectly. And it knocked Cody's front wing, damaged it like this. He ran the rest of that feature and came home 5th, 6th with no front wing, trying to run the bottom. That thing was off another couple inches left or right. Suspension's broke. He's done. He ended up with 2 top 5s. Yeah, he had top 5 in that night too. So, shout out Cody Hartlaw, man. Just even when it doesn't go right, he's grinding out for good finishes. So, you're watching a guy evolve in front of our eyes this year.
Absolutely.
When we interviewed him, February, March, early, and I said 7 wins. I don't know if he'll get to 7 or not, but goddamn, this kid, you're watching him evolve in front of your eyes. He ran second to Freddie at Lincoln 2 weeks ago. He's getting it done. So, his nose wing. Yeah, by the way, that nose wing side panel, some little girl walked away with it out of the pits, and I could see it. It was 10 feet from me at one point, and I couldn't get a hold of it. And I saw some little girl walking out of the pits with that side panel. And I was never more jealous of an 8-year-old.
that little girl was a race fan for life. Richard Miller talking about Michael Millard. He started second, fell. I saw it was supposed to say he fell second, fell a little bit. It had some shit happen.
Why is that name on my podcast?
Because Richard Miller asked.
What do you mean?
Millard he's been improving, I guess.
Well, when you start up front every week, you're going to end up front some point.
Well, he finished
16th.
So.
Moving on.
Okay. Anyway,
I believe Chase finished second or third in points up there. I just know he wasn't in there. I don't think he went up there at all last year, but I could be wrong. But
no, I don't think so. Not that I remember.
We're full of wrong opinions around here. So,
but yeah, I mean,
there are.
I hope Millard continues this progression because
he didn't wreck anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's out there getting laps, he's getting better, getting faster, so that's good. We need competition to keep stepping up.
I think from his post, it was started second, fell to 6th, missed the bottom, was running around there, and then things kind of got dicey, and he fell, I think, to 13th. And he even admitted he missed some lines and stuff like that. It's tough. He'll get there though. It's tough. At least he's acknowledging his flaws.
Mm-hmm. Mark Strickler loves the show. Shout out.
Thanks, Mark. Good to see you, buddy. Got to see Mark in a 358 this past week, doing a little testing at Babs. Hop behind the wheel. You can tell he hasn't missed a beat, man. He could go out there and run with his boys right now. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. And babe, we're faster than you. Shut up.
I started it before that comment. I said it before that comment came up.
I know. Jay-Z's faster. So I guess we're going to wrap it up here.
Yes.
But
again,
Williams Grove.
Keep liking Williams Grove. Brett Perigo shirts. $15 if you mention
Turn 2 Terribles.
Or the promo.
For the promo. You'll get it $15.
If you can't be there, Brett Perigo, Facebook Messenger, hit him up.
Yes.
Same thing.
Just
Same thing
mention
applies
us.
if you mention on Facebook.
You'll get
And
that same price.
$30 hoodies. I know it's gonna be 91 degrees on Friday, but you might need that hoodie for the test score of 50.
Yes.
Oh, Natty
Again,
Open.
And
So,
we're fighting for a merch spot. So
this is
be there- be there.
design. It's a beautiful shirt. We've
Right.
worn it a bunch of times. I love
Our
it.
good
I might buy
buddy-
myself another one.
Why not? And our good buddy Ken Baum was involved in this. It's a good time. So hit us up. Let us know what you think. Ask us our thoughts because we are full of them all week long. We fight mostly. It's like
Pretty
our
much.
whole week's like a 13-hour car ride, so you just kind of fight a
I
bunch.
only have thoughts on here. When I'm at the racetrack, I just go do my thing. I only have thoughts.
Yeah,
on
but like we're sitting at home or working a lot during the week. We get thoughts and we fight a lot. So let us know what to fight about.
Yeah, you should see these conversations in our Discord chats. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes they go longer than these shows.
I don't think we've
Yeah.
ever fully agreed on any topic ever.
We
All three of us.
actually hate each other.
Jimmy just
We're true
disagrees with
brothers.
us because he can. He doesn't really believe it.
I
He's
like
a
playing
politician.
devil's advocate a lot,
Exactly. You're the
and then
politician.
maybe I talk
he
myself
loves that.
into those opinions sometimes. a
Well,
little
he
too
loves
often.
that. He loves that until we do it to him. Then he hates us. Anyway, we're true brothers here. So yeah, just talk us into some shit, and we'll bring it up next week probably.
Give the noob guy PA break. He's still learning everything. I agree. I mean,
So
yeah,
is Devin Borden. But hey, here
Yeah.
we are.
it's true.
Hey,
But hey,
hey,
Chris, you go first. You yelled at me first.
What? Do I have to be a fan?
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no.
he said give him a break. I'm giving him a break. Hey, back off.
Okay.
Okay.
Holla.
All right, that's it. That's it. Thanks, guys, for
That's-
tuning in. Again, come see us again at Williams Grove. And we will see you guys next